AEW Dynamite Grand Slam is upon us this Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. And as well, we've got, of course, Rampage Grand Slam as well. Going to be covering both shows, giving a preview and predictions today on the channel. I'm going solo today, and I've got to say, I'm really excited about the match card that we have, particularly for the Dynamite Grand Slam, the Rampage one. There are a few filler matches, but we're going to go and dive in both parts of the show. If there's a particular match that you want to know about and you are watching on delay, then the chapters feature will be available in the comment section or description of this video below. But let's go through some of the matches then we're going to be talking about. We're going to have them on the side of your screen right now. So starting off then, we've got the AEW Grand Slam predictions for Dynamite. The first match we're going to talk about will be Claudio Castagnolli against Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. We're going to be talking about Pac versus Orange Cassidy for the All-Atlantic Championship. Match 3 sees Swerve in Our Glory going against the Acclaimed in a rematch from AEW's All Out in 2022 for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Match 4 sees us with the AEW Women's World Championship, Toni Storm defending in a four-way against Athena, Serena, Deeb, and the Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And the last match we'll be talking about, of course, for Grand Slam, for the Dynamite side of things, will be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson for the vacant AEW World Championship. So that's going to be what we're going to talk about on that side. If we move things over then and discuss ourselves some Rampage, let's go into the matches that we've got there for the Rampage predictions. Then we're going to first talk about Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs. We're going to talk about Eddie Kingston against Sammy Guevara. Darby Allin Sting will be taking on the House of Black in a no disqualification match. We've got Jade Cargill defending the TBS Championship against Diamante. Of course, there's been the tease of a mystery person showing up as well. We've got Hook and Action Bronson against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Ray Fenix against Jungle Boy, which I believe is a first-time ever singles match in AEW history. Looking forward to that one, discussing that later. We've got Wardlow and Samoa Joe against Toni and Josh Woods. And to wrap things off, yes, the last thing we're talking about today on the stream will be the Golden Ticket Battle Royale. So lots to dive into. Of course, like I say, lots to predict. Over 13 matches in total. And in fact, we've got KXI already in-house saying, what's going on, Steve? I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're doing well. I noticed just before I came on the stream, you've checked out one of my other videos today and dropped a comment. I look forward to diving into more detail as soon as I finished up here. But I hope you're doing well as well. And feel free to join in with your predictions for the show. So without further ado then, we'll be kicking things off to start off with then, like I say, with the Dynamite Grand Slam predictions. Let's talk about Claudio Castagnolli going against Chris Jericho for the ROH World Championship. Now, Chris Jericho has come out on commentary. He did say when Claudio had a fantastic match with Dax Harwood about the idea potentially of going for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This week, while Claudio was on Rampage in the ring with Will Yuta, Chris Jericho got involved, explained how he's been a former champion for WWF, WWE, WCW, and of course AEW. He was the first ever AEW World Champion, but of course he's never gone for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And of course, Claudio Castagnolli said that this is a match he's been very much looking forward to having. Claudio has been booked very strong since coming into AEW. In fact, he was victorious very early on in his career with winning at Forbidden Door against Zack Sabre Jr. Of course, he won the Blood and Guts match, which featured against the Jericho Appreciation Society, if we do remember. So there is some friction, some history here. And like I say, Claudio has gone on to win the Ring of Honor World Championship off Jonathan Gresham very quickly. He's had great matches as well for that championship since. Dax Harwood is a particular favorite of mine. But going in then for a prediction for this match for me, Chris Jericho winning the ROH World Championship does sound a lot of fun, purely because Jericho hasn't won it. Then it almost feels like it's almost near a full set of all the top American titles. But for me, I think that this is a great opportunity to put Claudio Castagnolli over further. Jericho, he's that guy in AEW. He can suffer a defeat, he can suffer a loss. It's not gonna hurt him in the long run. Claudio has everything to gain, and actually, to be fair, has everything to lose in this match. So for that reason, I'm going to go for Claudio Castagnolli to pick up the victory and retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. But the fact we've had the Lionheart Chris Jericho have some great technical matches recently against the likes of Bryan Danielson at 2 different occasions as well. He's also been the Lionheart against Jon Moxley. It only is fitting he does it with another Blackpool Combat Club member in Claudio. So, yeah, that's exactly what I think with that opening contest. But we've got here KXI saying, I really enjoyed the Blackpool Combat Club versus the JS Food, but I've got Claudio for this one. Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like a good prediction to have at this point. And as KXI says, geez, skip Rampage one more time. And they actually announced 7 matches on that show. Yeah, it's a lot of matches that have been added to the Rampage show, but we'll be going on those later on in the stream. But in the meantime, we'll talk about the match number 2. Talk about Pac going against Orange Cassidy for the All-Atlantic Championship. A championship so far that has been given mixed reaction from fans, it feels, in AEW, in my personal opinion. I said that I'm a big fan. I like the idea of the championship being defended on different continents, the idea that you can actually potentially get new audience, people seeing, okay, this AEW championship, Pac is a name we are familiar with, going all across the pond in the UK, for example. I'm sure at some point it'll end up in New Japan and different areas as well. But a lot of people have been upset with the idea that it's not been presented on national TV on AEW, and particularly when it is, it's usually on Dark. But of course, a lot of that seems to be to do with the fact that when he's fighting in the United Kingdom, they're not big stadium arenas that he's fighting in. It makes the AEW product look weaker if he's going, say, for, I don't know, a little bingo hall, I think is the American term that you would use for it. And then to go on these sort of big arenas that we get for AEW, it makes the product look less. So I personally understand why they've done it on Dark. But the fact that Pac has been around more in the United States, and now, of course, he's 2-Pac. After all, now he's a double champion. I'm actually looking forward to the fact that we got this rematch. The first time since, I believe, Revolution 2020 when they did this match originally. Orange Cassidy's come a long way since then. Pac, like I say, was the inaugural champion. He beat Kip Sabian at All Out, and that's when we sort of started to build for this since. Orange Cassidy was in the match involved where Pac became a double champion, of course, winning the Trios Championships with the Lucha Bros. So for me, I'm quite looking forward to it. Pac sort of still undermines the idea of what Orange Cassidy is all about. Like I say, he's added a lot more serious wrestling to his game. He still does those little tricks here and there, but it's not the same Orange Cassidy as what we saw. The last time we had this, it was arguably the breakout match for Orange Cassidy when he was to face Pac. So looking at this, I'm interested what it will be. We saw the Orange Punch backstage as the last bit of build for this, but I'm going to go for Pac to retain here. He's still the inaugural champion. It feels too soon for me for that championship to change hands. We know Ethan Page as well, a proud Canadian, wants to go for this championship as well. And I do believe that that's what he will probably do. I reckon he'll be the next challenger. But I think that that's quite nice though here, because it does leave that intrigue and mystery of who's going to win this match. Because, well, both guys in this are portrayed most of the time as baby faces. I feel in this that Orange Cassidy will be seen more as the baby face, but Pac with the Lucha Bros usually is also presented in that way on TV. So Ethan Page could go against either of these guys going forward. But for me, I'm going to go for Pac to retain. But I do think this time he's actually going to gain some respect for Orange Cassidy. Next is the match I'm probably most looking forward to on the entire week of AEW. That's right. It's the rematch from All Out, the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It is Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland going against the Acclaimed. And of course, if anyone wants to say Sesame Daddy-O, here we are. For me, the Acclaimed have organically got over so well over the last 2 years. An incredible team that, yes, they push the boundaries, but they find a way to get over. And the fact is that their catchphrases are just so organic, a crowd can eat it up. It really feels like that they are like a throwback to a different era to what we see today. But they know how to get over with what they do. And I think they've done a great job in it. They've had a good period of time where we've been building them up as a strong tag team for the future. Is now the time to give them the championships. Because if you go back to All Out, this team were like the most over thing on the entire show. And I'd even rival that they were that over, even though there was a CM Punk level. So that the Acclaimed were that over in Chicago at All Out. It felt like it could have been the right move to have called an audible on that night and made them the new champions. The moment there would have been so special. But of course, Swerve and Our Glory, they retained. We've had the sort of face and heel dynamic in the team together as well. Keith Lee, being sort of the baby face of the team. Swerve, happy to go on the heel side as well. But in that match, even Keith Lee was getting booed. Throws a fun dynamic here because you start to think to yourself, is Keith Lee going to remain on the good side? And I think that can really play into the story here. And it could lead to a breakup with Swerve and Our Glory later down the line if they were to lose this match. Or does Keith Lee sort of see where Swerve is coming from and go on the heel side? And we see Keith Lee as a heel, what I believe will be the first time that I've seen it watching him on national television. I'm not sure with other people whether they've seen that before or not, but for me, it's a really interesting idea of how that this match can play out. There's so many different variables and dynamics. And I've got to say, when you go back to the media scrum, I thought it was very disrespectful that a lot of people said to Swerve and Glory, you should have lost that match. The fact that they should have changed the decision and give the Acclaimed the championships. But hey, Tony Khan in that media scrum thought, we've got some money here. We've got an interest in this match here. And is it the right time to pull the trigger and have new tag team champions on arguably what you would say is a proper tag team as well? Swerve and Glory can go off and do their own thing. I'm really torn on this match because, like I say, I can see good arguments for either way. But I do feel so far I've gone with two champions to retain. I think an Arthur Ashe Stadium. And let's be fair, Queens, New York, last year, this was an incredible venue for AEW. Something I already spoke about already on this stream, but last year was so special with the matches we had, the atmosphere in there. I think we're going to get a similar atmosphere in that Arthur Ashe Stadium. I think we're going to get it for this match as well. And I think that Tony Khan is going to pull the trigger. I think we're going to get brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions. And either that can turn Keith Lee, where he goes heel and turns on the fans afterwards to be along with Strickland, or it's going to create the breakup, which I know we've had a few breakups recently, but this one has felt like it's been a mishmash in the works for a while. So let's see how it will play out. Let's go to the comments, see what people are saying. We've got Elijah in house. Sup, Steve? Hope you're doing well, Elijah. Thank you for checking everything out. KXI saying, I really enjoy the All Atlantic. Feels like a huge deal when the champion shows up on AEW. And that's the thing, it's an attraction. I like the idea that you said that, KXI, because, you know, someone that's not around all the time, people say there's too many championships in All Elite Wrestling. And arguably, I would say they're right. But at the same time, when you say that one of them isn't around all the time, it's not just a nothing championship. He's going to other places to try and spread the name of All Elite Wrestling, which I think is a good thing. And when he does show up, you think, oh, yeah, he's here to defend it on the big shows here. And Orange Cassidy fills that sort of level of opponent. So I really like the comment you've put in there, Kate. So I think it's really strong. He also goes on to say, even though I really like Swerve and Glory, I do feel they will break up on this show, unfortunately. And they are doing some good stuff. I mean, they could continue the story for a lot longer if they wanted to. And that's why I kind of like the idea of this Keith Lee just turning heel for the time being, almost seeing things Swerve Strickland's way. I think it would be quite fun because then you can build that further to where Keith Lee can go and be like, what am I doing? I shouldn't be that guy. I should be someone that the fans like, because even though I feel they turned on me, at the same time, it's Swerve in a way that's almost convinced me to do things that I shouldn't be. So I kind of like the idea of what they can do with the dynamic of the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were to break up either. Richard, what have you got for me today? He says the Acclaimed versus Swerve and Glory will end in Max Caster, Tony's tag team partner. It's a setup to be confirmed. Interesting. That's actually a normal prediction, Richard. Usually you give me some nice little some cheeky ones in there for us, but today that feels like a legit one there for us. And though I can't see it happening, certainly would be an interesting dynamic if it was to. Because like I said, I'm looking at the Swerve and Glory breaking up, looking at the Acclaimed. But for me, one of the most overacts in the company, I think it'd be a huge mistake. Jeff says, I got Swerve and Glory to retain by heel moves, and Acclaimed lose, and Max Caster turns on Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn as well as managers. There we go. We've got a couple of people that think actually it could be the other way around. Elijah says, Acclaimed is a throwback to this era, New Age Outlaws, Billy and Road Dogg. Oh, you didn't know. And to be fair, I can see that. I like that. That's a very good comparison as well. That's why Billy Gunn fits that group so well. So yeah, really like that. Let's talk about another match, shall we? Let's talk about match 4 then on the card that I'm going to go with, the AEW Women's World Championship. We've got Toni Storm against Athena, Serena Deeb, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for those that are keeping score. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this match, but I do feel that the build of it, very rushed, a bit, what, if we're being honest. These were involved in the tag team match last week. Serena Deeb got the pinfall over Toni Storm. You would have thought, well, okay, that would have made sense then to just have a straight-up singles match. Then I would have said, that makes sense. But there was kind of a bit of a free-for-all after the match involving all 4 ladies. And here Tony Khan said, right, let's just put all 4 of them in the match. So let's break it down a little bit and go to a prediction. I think long-term, the direction is Serena Deeb against Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. I think that's the starting place here for a longer-term feud that could go all the way to Full Gear. We'll have to wait and see. There's also, I believe, the Dynamite Anniversary show that will go on between now and Full Gear as well. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Now, she also had a bit of a confrontation with Jamie Hayter last week. Britt Baker cost Jamie Hayter at All Out. I think that Jamie Hayter will get involved in this match as it's a 4-way. There's no disqualifications. I think Jamie Hayter will take Britt Baker out of this match. And Athena, Well, Athena's there. I have no reasoning why Athena's there. She's ex-WWE. She lost to Jade Cargill at All Out in very quick fashion, so I'm not sure why she's earned herself a championship opportunity, but it's nice to see that she's there. She's a heck of a performer, and I do think it'll be a good match. That I will say. I think it's going to be a heck of a four-way. Toni Storm for me, I'm going to go to retain here on this night. I think that she'll pin Britt Baker as well. That will take Baker out of the championship program for quite a while. We can focus on Baker and Hayter going forward. Athena can go on to do whatever Athena's going to do, and we can have Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb moving forward. We're going to the comments section once again, and we've got Carson Nathan in the house who's saying I've got the Acclaimed, and then Keith Lee turns on Swerve Strickland, and we get a Powerhouse and Keith Lee and Will Hobbs. I'll get a Powerhouse with Keith Lee and Will Hobbs. That'd be an interesting duo. They certainly would be powerhouses. There's no arguing with that. I was going to say, did you see WWE post a White Rabbit on SmackDown on a dark match? Yeah, I did see this. I'm not sure, obviously, going on AEW stream right now, but certainly there could be something to do with Karrion Kross. That's what everyone thought. Of course, White Rabbit was a part of his character in Lucha Underground. So let's see if that will actually go down like that. But there was some people saying it could be teasers of Bray Wyatt as well. I have to wait and see. For me, completely left in the dark, if you want, at this point. We'll have to wait and see what it be, but perhaps WWE are testing something. And hey, I'm excited when they test something. We've got KXI saying, thinking Lee will turn. That's surprising to me. People think Lee turning. Yeah, I'm surprised as well at that point. I mean, obviously turning on Swerve Strickland to be still with the baby faces, I would say it'd probably be the other way around. But I don't know. For me, Lee, if he was to turn heel, I just think it'd be a bit interesting, a bit different. I mean, for me, I look at it and say that he's been fine in AEW, but this guy could be the face of your company. He should be the face of the promotion, and he's not been given that opportunity. He's sort of been that guy that's been put in the background, faded away. And I think that maybe heel turn just might give a new bit of edge, a bit of dynamic to the character. I think that could be something that's missing. And obviously, when we saw that reaction at All Out, I feel that Tony Khan is reacting. That's why this match has been made again, and that's why we've got this match number 2. Let's see how it will go. I'm interested to see where it will go. Chris says Serena Deeb wins this match by Hayter costing Britt Baker, and then Athena turns heel on Ross after. I'm guessing that would be potentially Storm, because of course we've not got Ross there, or Rosa. Or maybe it's, I don't know at this point. Chris said I got the Acclaimed winning also. And also Elijah saying it's crazy that the Braun Brutes got the win over SmackDown and the FaceTime Sheamus. Yeah, Clash of the Castles did amazing for that. And the Braun Brutes are really benefiting from it. And that was a great match on SmackDown. Really, really enjoyed it. But let's move things on in the meantime, and let's talk about the last match then from AEW's Dynamite Grand Slam version. We'll talk about Jon Moxley against Bryan Danielson for the vacant AEW World Championship. The tournament finals as well on this one, of course, because, Bryan Danielson, he's had to win 2 matches to get to this spot. He beat Hangman Adam Page, of course, on the first week, and then on the second week, he beat Lionheart Chris Jericho. Jon Moxley had a bye, just like Jericho did, into the semi-final, and he beat Sammy Guevara, who'd beaten Darby Allin to get to that position. Now, of course, everybody knows why we have a vacant AEW World Championship. You're probably thinking, why have we? For those who have been living under a rock, CM Punk won the championship at All Out, and then that media scrum happened, and of course, CM Punk is suspended right now, but of course, he picked up an injury as well, so he would have probably had to vacate the championship anyway. And of course, we still don't have Kenny or the Bucks around either, but I've covered that topic in great detail, so I'm not going to do that any further on this stream. Check out other videos if you want to know that information on there. But looking here, I mean, like I say, after Ash Stadium, we had this last year. It was Bryan Danielson's first match in AEW, 30-minute classic with Kenny Omega. The crowd were going electric. I could really see that atmosphere in here once again. And Bryan Danielson last week, also picking up a leg injury as well. Played it nicely into the underdog babyface story. Of course, it's Blackpool Combat Club against Blackpool Combat Club here as well. They're not going to take it easy on one another. They faced off at Revolution before as well. When Regal came in, they first started this Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley, on the other hand, we've had the summer of Moxley. He was the interim world champion, hated that title to the point he won the championship against CM Punk, only to lose it just a week and a half later. And of course, I think many probably have regret at this stage that Jon Moxley did that. But of course, the story is what's going to lead going forward after this, because MJF, of course, winning with his chip, the casino ladder match at All Out, is waiting for the winner. And we know that MJF has been cutting promos on Jon Moxley. Moxley's been doing it on MJF. We've not really had much interaction with Bryan Danielson. So it leads me to believe that Jon Moxley versus MJF could be the long-term program that we've got. That also could be the short-term program that we have. And Bryan Danielson could be the long play for Full Gear. MJF could wait in the background. Or could MJF cash in on this match? or after this match, because MJF, of course, has said that he's going to play it smart and not work hard. He's going to work smart, not hard here. So that leads me to think he's going to be involved here somehow. But to give my prediction, I said Jon Moxley all the way, but do you know what? I feel like I want a feel-good moment. And 1 year later to the day, or 1 year later, since Bryan Danielson made his debut in ring for AEW, of course, he debuted it All Out, but this was his first match a year ago. I'd like to see him win the big one. I think it'd be a feel-good factor. He's not been an AEW World Champion before as well, so that's something different, something fresh. And like I said, he's had the injury carried as well. And then the fact is that MJF can come in afterwards, cash in that chip, because like I say, he's being smart here, wins the championship from an injured Bryan Danielson. We can build that match up there, and then we can continue to build up the Moxie match. And you can do one match at the anniversary show for Dynamite and the other one at Full Gear. That's personally what I would do. It'd be interesting how it will play out. But I must admit, this feels a big-time match. And to be fair, the fact that with all the controversy that we've had, tournaments can always be played out very, very well. And I think AEW have played this tournament out extremely well. So whatever happens, it's going to be exciting. Let's jump into the comments then. And Elijah said, last match, here we go. Absolutely. That was the last match for that. But we're going to do Rampage in a couple of seconds. We've got Mox and Bryan match ending in a Jericho Appreciation Society beatdown. Interesting strategy that would leave us without a world champion. But it could carry over to Full Gear. So, yeah, it could be something different. Wouldn't send the crowd home happy, but they would have Rampage to talk about. And certainly, we have Rampage to talk about. So, quick change. There we go. We're changing the colors up. Change that color scheme. I'm going to throw Rampage up for you. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about then with Grand Slam Dynamite. Let's do Rampage's Grand Slam, because we've got a number of matches that we're going to dive into with this one. In fact, we have got 8 matches in total. I'm going to kick things off here with Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs, of course. This is carry on after All Out. Of course, they had a good build into All Out with Hobbs turning on Ricky Starks, of course, and Starks has just got that natural charisma and babyface thing going down to a T. The negative for me is the factory that's been involved on the build to All Out. I think that weakened this feud a little bit. I think it got weakened further with the idea that Hobbs won this in such a quick time. I think it was less than 5 minutes. So, I mean, for me here, I feel that I'd like to see a longer match with these two. I want to see this as one of the main matches of the show. I want to see it given a good 15 minutes at least if we're going to have a 2-hour special Rampage on Friday. For me to give the prediction, I think Ricky Starks picks up the W here. It goes 1-1. You could easily have where Hobbs wins again and we build this up to a further match down the line, but I don't want fans to get tired and bored of it either. I think Ricky Starks should pick up the victory. Maybe this could even be, as it's a television match and not a pay-per-view match, maybe this could even have a false finish where Starks picks up the victory. I wouldn't be surprised with that either. AEW, though, rarely does, though, so it would be a big surprise if they were to. But my prediction will be Mr. Ricky Starks. C Nation Dog in the house. Thank you, C Nation, for joining us. Says, remember when Dynamite had like 4 Dynamite specials in a row? I did indeed, but thankfully we had a bit of a break from those. And I've got to say, C Nation, Grand Slam feels like the most important of the specials the entire year. Being in Arthur Ashe Stadium, Queens, New York. New York is a passionate crowd. We all know that. It's a great fan base. And the way it was presented last year, I really hyped and buzzed to see what they do with it this year. And Rampage felt very important last year as well. And I hope that we've got an interesting lineup of matches we're going to go through here. Some matches, in my opinion, are more important than others. But what I would say is that I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to play out and what they're going to present on these shows here. I really think that we could look back at the end of the year again and say, this continues to be a yearly thing because AEW does this so well. This is not like some of the other specials that we've seen. So let's go on to our match number 2 then. We're going to talk about Eddie Kingston going against Sammy Guevara. They went for it. We thought this feud was done after the real stuff that happened backstage. We know that the brawl happened backstage. Eddie Kingston got suspended. Looked like they were given different programs to go into All Out. They weren't going to do it. But for the sakes of the feud, both guys are going to go in. They are going to finish it off. And I've got to be honest, I said it's Queens, New York. This is Eddie Kingston territory. This is Eddie Kingston Town. Kingston Town, top tune, by the way. Love a bit of UB40. But at the same time, what I would say is we have to keep an eye out for Tay Conti. We have to keep an eye out for Anna Jay. They do play a big factor here. Sammy Guevara was just in the World Title Tournament as well. So it would kind of make sense for him to pick up the W here. But I've got to go for Kingston to pick up the victory. I'm really hoping that he does get the win here. Randy Sam is in here as well. And also a similar prediction as well when we got a beatdown from Jericho Briscoe in the Mox and Daniel match, and then maybe MJF catches in somehow someone is injured. I like how you've combined a couple of the comments and put it together for it makes it actually where things link together quite nicely. I like that, Randy, because if we do have that, I mean, I've seen enough JS versus Blackpool Combat Club. If I'm being brutally honest, I don't feel I need to see it again. But at the same time, if we were to do it that way, and that's the way that MJF can see his opportunity, I wouldn't be against it. I think MJF should walk away with the championship. Take on to change the name to Time Mellow. That is very true. Say Nation, thank you for pointing it out to me. I will eventually learn to get it right. And Elijah Washington says, and Eddie Kingston wins this match. Sammy's going to get hurt. Watch out for Ruby Soho. Good shout there for Sammy's Tay Mello and Anna Jay. Of course, that could even up the numbers. And let's not forget Ortiz as well has been involved with this rivalry with these guys as well. So that could be quite a fun dynamic, actually. So, yeah, you make that they could even things out there for the babyface that is Eddie Kingston on this show. Next match we're going to talk about is Darby Allin and Sting against the House of Black in a no disqualification match. And, of course, Malachi Black is gone. What was the saying that Brody King said? You can cut the head off the snake, but you still got to keep an eye out for the fangs. I liked that. Of course, this led down to the beatdown of Matt Hardy after the match that Darby had on Rampage this week. And, of course, House of Black said, this ain't finished. We're not done in a long shot with this rivalry. Let's have a no disqualification match next week. I'm looking forward to it. I think that the match should be good. I do feel that this match, though, or this feud, should I say, is done. I don't feel we need this feud anymore. This should be the blow-off. This should be it where it's completely finished. Knowing AEW, I can see Darby Allin and Sting picking up the victory because it's Darby Allin and Sting. You've got one of the pillars and, well, it's Sting. I'm not going to do the full-on Tony Schiavone for you, but at the same time, I do think that this should be a good, fun match. But for me, Brody King, he stands out to me as a real star in the making. Buddy Matthews as well, if I'm being brutally honest. But Brody King, for me, that he's stepped it up since he had that championship opportunity. I think it was the Royal Rampage as well earlier this year, winning that match. He's got another level for me. I think Brody King could be a top single star in AEW alone. So I hope a House of Black win, but I've got a funny feeling it's going to be the babyfaces on this one. And so far, I've gone all babyfaces. Going in here, we've got C Nation then saying Ruby Soho's run in AEW has been super bad. It started off well. That's the thing. It started off really well. But unfortunately, it just kind of fell to the wayside. She's kind of spent a lot of time in catering. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see it happening personally. Jericho said in an interview he wants this story to be more interesting. Elijah, I'm guessing that will be. I'm hoping that this is going to be a fascinating story, particularly with him and Claudio. This first match we discussed on the stream. I'm hoping so, but I have to see how it will play out. It may be a one and done. But I think Jericho with the RH World Championship could be an interesting storyline, even though I've made a prediction that it could go the other way. He said he doesn't want it to end. Oh, fair play. Fair play. We've got AOR back. I'm not sure, KXI, on what you mean with that one there, but yeah, maybe you can let me know in further detail. Randy Sam says Eddie Kingston wins, and then Santana and Tay Mello come out, and also Anna Jay, and definitely Ruby Soho. I don't think we'll get Santana. I think his contract is done. I know he's injured. He's on the shelf, but Ortiz certainly could be a possibility. KXI says Sting shouldn't have been in a feud with House of Black because you can't have Sting no sell the House of Black moves. Yeah, I would agree with that. It does seem a little bit odd when Sting does that, but it's very 90s. It's very throwback of what Sting was like back in the day, and fans used to really eat it up, and it used to happen with all the top hitters in WCW as well. So I think that's why a lot of people forgive it, but I can understand your reasoning with it because the modern day wrestling, it gives a bad look to the opposition when superstars do that. Randy Sam says Darby and Sting wins. Could be interesting there. But we agree as well, Randy, with that one. Sandra says, fun fact, Sting has never lost a match in AEW. Well, then I'm predicting that will also continue. It kind of makes sense. I mean, Toni, I think, is a big Sting fan as well. It does feel like the wrong team, actually, at this point as well, to be beaten, I suppose, in a way, because, like I said, Brody King can go off on his own doing the single stuff, where I think Buddy Matthews possibly could as well. I think I'm done with House of Black. If Malachi's not going to be there, he's not going to come back, then I just don't see it. Sinisha says Ruby should have won the Owen Hart tournament. Dr. Breaker didn't need it. She did need it. You're right. But I think that they wanted to go with the established names on that particular evening. I think that's why it happened. And as you're going to see afterwards as well, Ruby, even if she'd won it, she then disappears off TV. They need to have a story if she's going to win it. Otherwise, it makes the tournament look weak. And we didn't want to do that. So for me, I still think it was the right winner. Carson says, what if they do a plot twist if you saw Rampage? What if Matt Hardy turns heel and joins House of Black and Broken Matt, or a new character comes into play, maybe his brother Nero? Interesting, that one, Carson. I like that because, didn't Bro King say, I'm going to destroy all your favorites and the lights went out and stuff like that? It would be interesting for Matt Hardy. I mean, I've heard Jeff Hardy is due to return soon. For me personally, I hope that Jeff is happy and healthy. That's most important. I want that more than him to return to a wrestling ring at this stage of his career. But a Broken Matt character or a Matt Hardy in that way, he's changed his gimmick so many times, Matt Hardy, at this stage. So it's hard to know what he would do in AEW if he's to do it again. But I wouldn't be. That's probably the only way I could keep the House of Black going. But then I feel that without Malachi, I only feel the name just doesn't do right for me. But he does go and say, remember who tacked Hobbs backstage to heel or face. So I can see that happening. Matt Hardy heel turn to attack Sting. Fair play. Maybe it will happen. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's a bold and a good prediction as well. I mean, Matt Hardy was included in the story. Would be interesting to see if he was there on Rampage this upcoming week. Signature says, I think CM Punk will leave AEW while the Elite stay in AEW, and get back the trios titles. Do you know what? I've got a funny feeling you could be right, but I do believe that 8 months might be enough time for this stuff to blow over a little bit. It's hard to say. Obviously, the investigation is still going on. We're probably going to get results of what's going to happen with that soon. I wouldn't be surprised if what you said there happens at this stage. I also wouldn't be surprised if it didn't as well, I suppose. Darby Allin and Sting wins and should go after the Acclaimed next. And, of course, that would be if they win those championships. If not, Swerve and the Glory, I think it would be good to see them go after the tag team titles because if they're winning matches, it makes sense. Sting should lose at least one match in AEW. He should, but it should be the right time to the right opponents. And some may argue this would be the right time. I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure. Britt Baker won the tournament because Adam Cole also won. Well, I mean, the creative made the decisions, but it was kind of nice to have that at the same time, wasn't it, with them both winning it? But for me, they were the right winners at the time, but Adam Cole, of course, has been very unlucky with injuries since. And like I say, it's a shame that he's not around to capitalize on the momentum he got at Double or Nothing. Glad AEW pushes old guys and new guys sometimes. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there is a nice little blend in there. And that's something we'll just talk about the tournament quickly. I like that Darby and Sammy were involved in it. I know there was a bit of heat of both of them being in that tournament, but you got to give new people a chance. So I think that does make sense to do that. So yeah, I'm good with the fact that we see new faces push, but also some of the old faces as well. The Elite need to make an entrance with the trios titles. Well, they have to win them back first, but I'm sure they will if they come back and they ever do win them back. Jones is in the house. Hope you're doing well, Jonesy. Thank you for checking out the stream, my friend. And I'm doing very well, thank you. Wrestling Report, of course, the new one is up with Jonesy and Rated R for Wrestling on their channel now. Of course, it's on delay. We've got a comment here coming from Russell Red. What if the Firm come into play in the Mox and Bryan match? MJF cashes in and wins it. And then after MJF is new world champion, somehow debut after someone from ROH. That would be, everything after the debut to ROH, I could see that potentially happening. I mean, someone suggested Jericho Appreciation Society earlier. The Firm would make a lot more sense. The Firm would make so much more sense because they work together sometimes. They don't work together other times. I think that's what Stokely was going on about. Seems a bit random how they've all been thrown together, but still, that seems to be the idea. So for me, Russell Red would be my favorite way to do it if you're going to do it that way. Sination says Chris Jericho with the RH World title would bring a lot of prestige to the RH World title, but it won't happen. It would, and I think Jericho, then he's only missing Impact, and I think all the major American top world championships he's won. So for me personally, I could see would be a fun story, like I said earlier, but I'm still going for Claudio Castagnolli to retain. Jamie Hayter has to stop Jade Cargill. It's funny you mention Jade Cargill, Jonesy, because that's my next match on the lineup. So let's talk about Jade Cargill versus Diamante, shall we? There's no way this is going to go any other way than Jade Cargill winning here. But what it looks like we do have, Diamante's bringing someone in. A mystery person's been teased. The Queen of the 305. Who is that going to be? That I'm not sure here. Who is the Queen of the 305? Diamante's bringing someone in on the night, and that seems to be the next challenger set for Jade Cargill going afterwards. If anyone has any ideas of who could be on that free agent market, who she could be talking about, and of course, we're talking about the 305 as well. We can't just say from a random superstar from anywhere. It's a specific area code as well. But for me, Jade Cargill is going to retain the championship. We'll dive back into our comments once again. And Diamante is the Brooklyn Brawler. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she has barely been on TV. And the thing is, what's quite fun is I don't know if she's still with Kira Hogan, but I know that they were at some stage, I believe, an item. Could be mistaken, but I believe they were. So it was quite fun to see Kira Hogan's kind of reaction. She was like, you're challenging her. It kind of, that's the vibe I got there. But it'll be interesting what will happen with that. But Josie goes on to just go with a couple of his comments here. I think based on Dynamite, Moxley is winning unless MJF screws Moxley. That could be a way that could go down as well. Initially, I always said Jon Moxley was winning this tournament. I've gone in a way that I want Bryan Danielson because I think it's the feel-good factor. I've gone with heart over head, and I think MJF, walks out of Arthur Ashe Stadium with the championship either way, and I think he can build to him facing both wrestlers, one at the anniversary show for Dynamite and one at Full Gear. That's what I think will go down. I think MJF will, like you say, screwing Moxley would be perfect on the night because then he can win the championship there and then. Josie says, well, Jericho is winning the RH World title. He'll bring that brand alive. Interesting. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be against it. But I think that, as I said, Cesaro, Claudio has everything to gain here, and also he has everything to lose. So that's why I kind of feel that he should and perhaps will win on this show. Sid Nation says MJF shouldn't cash in on Dynamite Grand Slam. They should wait a little longer. He might. I mean, let's be fair. He's got the chip. He can do it whenever he sees fit. He may even wait till Full Gear at this point. But the thing that just made me think he will do, it's in New York. It's where he would go to win the world title if he's going to. I believe Full Gear may be in New York as well, or New Jersey, or around the area. I'm not entirely sure. But one thing that is the small quote that just stuck with me, MJF says, I work smart. I don't work hard. For me, that just says I don't need to go through a tournament because I've got the chip that I can cash in when I want, and I'm going to do it after that superstar or that wrestler here, that professional wrestler in AEW has done all the hard work. So that's why I believe that he will do it there. Russell West says if Jericho wins the RH World title, he is a legend already, but he will be a Grand Slam champion. Will be nuts how he treated the WWE Cruiserweight belt. I love Jericho as the Cruiserweight champion back in the day, back in WWE in the 90s. But yeah, he would have won so many championships at this point, and yeah, it would be another one to the collection. But as James said, it could really help the RH brand. I think Claudio is doing a good job at the moment with the RH brand, but I think Jonesy would probably say this, and I think I would incline to agree. I'm going to try and read your mind, Jonesy. Tell me if I'm wrong here when I say this. But Jericho is a different star level altogether. You put Jericho on a poster, you put Claudio on a poster. Which one is going to get more people to go and watch the show? It's Jericho. So that's why I think Jonesy's gone with that and why he thinks it will help the RH brand. But for me, I still think they'll keep it with Claudio. Christian mentioned that he has held the WWE and WWF championships, and those are centers. Different eras, though. I mean, Jericho did it before WWF changed to WWE. He was the first ever undisputed champion, which, of course, he won, if I'm not mistaken, at Vengeance 2001 in December of that year, beating the Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin on the same night. It was still the WWF then, and, of course, he was a multiple-time WWE champion, of course, in the WWE era. So that's why he feels he can say, because he was in two different periods of WWE history. Wrestler fan says he thinks Bryan Danielson is going to win. You just might be. Oh, Elijah, I love this. Mia Yim, her catchphrase from the NXT days. If Mia Yim is coming in, that would be awesome. I know that she has a contract, I believe, working with Impact Wrestling, I believe, till Bound for Glory. But if there's a way that they can bring her in now and she's able to do the performance, I think Mia Yim against Jade Cargill would be a big time match. Jade Cargill needs to start having opponents where I feel she's in jeopardy. So I quite like that. I do quite like that. Another one that Jonesy said, the Queen of the 3 and 5 is Eva Lise. And of course, they were a team before, wasn't they, Jonesy? If I'm not mistaken, didn't they win the women's tag team tournament thing that was going on in 2020? So I'm loving a couple of suggestion names here. I can see arguments for both. Eva Lise, if she wants to come in. I mean, she was awesome in Lucha Underground as well. But I mean, she did leave AEW before. So let's wait and see. I think both are great suggestions, and we'll see who it's going to be. We got Wrestler Fan says, I think Bryan Danielson wins, but it could go either way. It really could go either way. And I think it's probably the most unpredictable match of this entire stream, if we're being brutally honest here. Chris Williams says, Jade Kim wins, and the 305 can maybe the return of Eva Lise, but people say that it could be Gail Kim. I don't know why. I don't know with Gail Kim why people would say that. She's retired, long retired. I don't think she'd come out to go to AEW to do a match personally. She's always been so heavy with Impact Wrestling. She's still not faced some of the people on that roster like a Deonna Purrazzo. I think she was going to do it. I think she'd stay at home and do it in Impact Wrestling. Swerve and Glory reminds me of Kenny Omega and Hangman Page storyline where they became a Dynamite tag team and then break up and have a feud. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, C Nation. That kind of, there's parallels there. I see exactly what you see. Makes a lot of sense there. I'm really intrigued to see how that match is going to go down. For anyone that missed it earlier on, I will just recap it a little bit. I love the dynamic here. We've got the over tag team that's been building in Max Caster and Anthony Bowens for so long. We've got the team that was booed heavily, but the babyface and heel duo of Keith Lee and Swerve. Does Keith Lee kind of feel that the fans have turned on him, so he turns on the fans and turns heel on this show, or does he do it after the show, or do we get a breakup here at this point between Swerve and Keith Lee? It's really exciting to see how it will go down. Joseph says, give Stokely credit. That promo to get a generic stable name over was incredible. He did his absolute best. And unfortunately, it's just a shame because, I mean, the thing there was some really good things about Stokely's thing. Like you said, he trying to get over the group as best he could. That was incredible. He gave almost every member of the group purpose as well. And I thought that was really cool as well. I think it was just Double Morrissey who wanted some love. And I think he just kind of like dismissed like the I love you. It was like, dude, what am I doing out here? Like, this isn't cool. But like the rest of them, they have like the tag titles, the RH Pure Championship, the Atlantic Championship. The bar hasn't been set so high for those members, but they have direction, and every group needs direction. It's a good way to start things off. So fingers crossed that this group can work. But like I said, the generic stable name, it's a bit weak. They are rushing Claudio back to AEW due to people missing to broaden the roster. I mean, to be fair, that's how Claudio came in as well. We couldn't get Bryan Danielson on Forbidden Door. So Claudio has had that role since there. But at the same time, I'm sticking with Claudio. I'm not changing that prediction at this point. But I like the fact is, though, Jones, you think alike a lot. So I like that we're on different ends at this point. We're on a tug of war at this point. Let's see who gets over the finish line first. He says, you're right by Jericho, by the way. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the star power to help that brand there. Yeah, I do think that it would help ROH more, but like I said, I still stick with the same. I believe Jericho getting the RH belt is in time for them to get their own weekly TV show. And just that, there must be parallels as well to what they did with AEW. You know, they got the Dynamite show, first ever world champion, Jericho there when they finally get the TV deal. It does make a lot of sense. I see where they're doing it. And the fact that Jericho's doing the Lionheart gimmick more, does fit Ring of Honor, doesn't it? So yeah, I can see where you're coming from. There's some very good arguments, and I think that's why. I mean, I've already covered Grand Slam, but I think there's some really exciting matches on this show. I don't think it's all just one way or the other. I think that there's wiggle room for where anyone can win on those shows and those matches. Claudio is good SCW, and he's my favorite technical wrestler of this era, the modern day Dean Malenko. But if Jericho does win, you know how big that'll be for ROH. We talk about a name and more money for Ring of Honor. Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. Absolutely. I tell you what, I want to keep things just rolling with the matches so then we can just keep going with the comments afterwards. I think that's a nice thing. I can get through the next 3 matches in about less than 2 minutes, so bear with me. We're going to talk Hook and Action Bronson against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Hook and Bronson are winning, aren't they? This was built from the buy-in or 0 hour, if you want, of the All-Out show. I don't really get why Action Bronson is there. It's taking a spot from someone else on this show, in my personal opinion. But I know Bronson does do Hook's theme music, and I've got to say that theme music is an absolute banger. I absolutely love Hook's theme music. It's one of my favorites though in AEW. So for that reason alone, I'm going to give it a slide. I'm going to give it a pass. 2.0, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker have done fantastic work with the JAS, but they're not picking up the W here. Like I say, we're in Queens, New York. This is Hook's territory. He's picking up the win. First time ever, Fenix against Jungle Boy. I can't believe it's the first time ever singles match. That's what they promoted it on Rampage. Anyway, if anyone knows differently, C Nation, I know you're in the comments. Let me know. I'm looking forward to this match. Should be a lot of fun. I've got a funny feeling Jungle Boy will pick up the victory. He's the one breaking out as the single star. Ray Fenix has been involved in tag team matches with the Lucha Bros, has been involved in trios matches as well, and now is the trios champion also. So it makes sense for me to Jungle Boy to pick up the victory, although I wouldn't be surprised if Luchasaurus is hanging around here, and that could be the reason why Fenix would win, but I'm still going to predict Jungle Boy. And Wardlow and Samoa Joe against Tony's and Josh Woods. Got to say, I've got zero interest in this match whatsoever. Wardlow and Samoa Joe will be picking up the victory. Of course, we have the TNT champion, the ROH World Television champion. They had a stare down as well at one point. I'd much rather see that match, and I hope that they book Wardlow versus Samoa Joe further down the line. Nice and Woods, unfortunately, they're both very credible and talented wrestlers, but they just aren't over enough. And with Mark Sterling as well, that the act for me, it just feels that it's a jobber act, and it's not going to win. So let's go back to the comments, and I promised I wouldn't leave it too long to go back to the comments, so let's go and do so. Joseph says he thinks that Mia Yim would be far better than Eva Lisa. I've got to say, of the two options, I would prefer Mia Yim of the two options, but hey, I think both would be sensible options, would make sense if they were to come in. C Nation Dog says that's like Eddie Edwards saying he won the TNA World title and the Impact World title, but they are the same title. Kind of is, but if you want to list off the accolades, and let's be fair, Jericho's one of those. He's happy to reel them off. That's what he's going to do. And he's a heel, so he's going to try and make himself sound as good as he can in whatever way he can. Eddie Edwards right now in Impact Wrestling arguably could do the same thing if he wanted to, but Eddie Edwards, of course, is more of a darker, more like on and a more kind of style character. Jericho, more of a cocky, that Appreciation Society, the sports entertainer. Although, who knows, if Eddie Edwards did do it, maybe he'd win Sports Entertainer of the Week. I am on the Rampage portion after all. C Nation says, my 5 reasons why MJF should win the AEW World title video is coming out soon, but it is outdated. Thanks a lot, CM Punk. There's a lot of thanks going around for CM Punk right now. C Nation, I can feel your pain if that video's been made, but if you can, try and get it out as soon as you can, because if you can get it out before Wednesday, I reckon that video will get some traffic. I really do. Russell says, no, I don't think it can be Gail Kim, but it would be crazy if like a manager role for her. But also she can help the women's division with matching and booking. She's a pioneer and a legend. If I was Tony, does that carry on? If it was Tony Khan, I would call her. She would be great for that division. She would be awesome for that division. But they brought in Madison Rayne for that role. Madison Rayne is well, very credible, done a great work in Impact Wrestling, multiple-time champion as well. So I don't think they need Gail Kim at this point. And like I say, Gail Kim, she's loyal with what she's doing with Impact. She's spent most of her time and career happiness in Impact Wrestling. I personally don't see her leaving. But of course, absolutely, if she was there to gain for AEW, that would really, really help them and help their women's division. Would just help every division in general, to be fair. He says CM Punk was one of my reasons, but I'm not going to remake the video. Fair enough. And you don't have to remake the video. I understand the work it goes into making videos on YouTube, and I can say that if you've put the time and effort in there, it is the case that sometimes these things can be outdated. But I know that people put a lot of time, put of hours. So people that have the opportunity to check videos out, make sure to support those content creators that do so, because they put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the content that they put out there for everyone. Russell says, I've read this one, Russell. Apologies about that there for you, my friend there. Jones says, Anthony's on our show said today, the firm sounds like a bunch of estate agents or solicitors. Yes, absolutely. Would it be realtors for the people from America? Realtors? I believe that's what Phil Dunphy was in Modern Family back in the day. Yes, I'm using Modern Family as a reference. But they do kind of feel like that, don't they? It kind of feels like they're going to go and do, I don't know, some office work, or maybe going to do some work in the factory. We've already got the factory though, so yeah, it kind of doesn't work. But great shout there from Anthony. I have to kind of agree with him. We've got the Contenders Corner podcast, Hard Talk in the House. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for checking the stream out. Jericho should win the RH World Championship. It would definitely give it some purpose. I agree with Jonesy Chats Wrestling. I don't disagree with it. I think it would be would make a lot of sense, and I think it's nice to see that there's a split opinion on it. I really, really do. Either way, it'll be a great match with Jericho and Claudio. I actually agree with you. I think that it has the potential to be one of the matches of the entire week. We've got Jones says as well, now AEW have less people to sign from the released WWE wrestlers. Does this mean that they will raid Impact Wrestling MLW? And they probably should. They probably should. Well, probably should. Not if you're an Impact or MLW fan, but if some of those wrestlers come available, there is some great talent in those shows. And okay, it's going to bring in the WWE names and stuff like that, but you get to a point, if you keep taking all the WWE people that were leaving WWE, you might arguably start becoming the TNA of like the late noughties, the ones that became like the 2010s and stuff like that. Remembers when Alberto Albatron came in and won the title on the first night in Impact? It's not a good look when that happens. And I believe it was like 2016, 17. It's not a good look on your company. So it's better to bring in new stars and bring them to the top. I love what they've done with Daniel Garcia. I love what they've done with Wheeler Yuta. You know, it's almost like the next generation of pillars underneath the pillars that we've got. It feels like the MJF is ready to go to the next level with Jungle Boy, Darby Allin. You know, it's good to see Sammy Guevara's in that tournament as well. Let's get the next crop up and let's get the next crop ready after that. There's so many great talent out there in other companies. So it would make more sense to sign those talents than from WWE at this point, in my opinion. Even though I do kind of agree with you when you do say that obviously the WWE would have more of the name value, the star power to try and bring people in instantly. Jungle Boy should be cost by Luchasaurus. He should be, but I just think the single star over the tag team star. Either way, this match will be an absolute one of the matches of the week for sure. Jungle Boy versus Fenix will be awesome. And of course, Hook and PN News are winning here, mate. I would be shocked if there was any other result personally when you look at it. C Nation says again, I'm going to make my 5 reasons why MJF should win the world title come out on September 21st before Grand Slam, just in case MJF wins the world title at the show. I would say it's a safe bet to do so. Just do it in case. Wardlow has hit hard times. It's sad to see. Just lacking direction. I mean, the guy can only do so many power bombs. If there's no substance on top of it, it will start to fall flat. You can only do the same trick over and over again so often. I think him versus Samoa Joe would make a lot of sense. I really, really do. So, yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun they did that. Contenders Connor says, I think Luchasaurus will be hanging around. He should be hanging around. I think that the beatdown will happen after the match. You wouldn't do it. There's so many matches on Rampage. I wouldn't be surprised if it stopped the match happening. Actually, if we're going to be honest, that's a unique prediction I'll make here because Rampage has a lot of matches to get through in such a short time. We've got a battle royal that I'm going to talk about in a couple of seconds' time, and if that's going to be the case, then all these matches are going to be like squash matches. It doesn't work for me. So maybe Luchasaurus does what he does, what he did at All Out, and we see Jungle Boy kind of screwed out of another match again. But Jungle Boy did get the match with Jay Lethal the other week, so I don't know. I'll tell you what, let's talk about that Battle Royal because then I can just stick to the chat. You all can just get involved with what you want to talk about and we just talk about it. I think it's a lot of fun. The Golden Ticket Battle Royale is going to be taking place on this show. Now, at the time of recording, I know 4 people that's going to be in it. That's it, just 4. Hangman Adam Page will be in the match. We've got Jay Lethal that'll be in the match. Penta El Cero Miedo, and we've got Lance Archer. Now, the last name doesn't do with anything for me anymore. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't matter. I know that Tony Khan likes to use him sometimes as the first challenger for a new world champion. I've seen it enough times. I don't need to see it again. And Lance Archer never wins it, so I don't want to see that. But I think we could get a lot of familiar names that could be involved in this that have not been announced. I imagine we'll get at least, 15, 20 people in this match. It's a shame we only got 4 announced ahead of time of recording. It would be fun if there'd be a surprise mystery entrant that was to come in and shock the crowd and stuff. But with it being Rampage, I'm not sure if it's going to be live or not. Someone let me know if it's live or not. If it's not live, the spoiler gets out, so that kind of ruins it. But I'm guessing probably like Dark Order, Rouge will probably be in there, probably get Best Friends in there. So there'll probably be some good contenders in this match. Andrade and Rouge will be 2 contenders I'd say that I see as outside bets to win it. But I'm going to go for Hangman Adam Page just because I think that he would have a great match with whoever the champion would be, whether it was Jon Moxley, whether it was Bryan Danielson. I know we had that just recently, but for me, it feels like it's the safe bet at this point. So I'm gonna play it safe. But if anyone has anyone that can persuade that prediction in the comments, I'm open to it. So that's pretty much all the predictions there for us. So without further ado, you will take over the rest of this show. That's pretty much it. So while we have questions in, try and keep them AEW if you can. But if not, then we'll do it anyway. And we'll see how we go. And I think that we can have a lot of fun here. Let's go Q&A format, should we say. We'll go in and try and go first where I left off. C Nation Dog says, why did Wardlow get a new theme song, but then change it back to his old theme song? Probably they weren't a fan of the new one. They probably thought it didn't connect as well as the old one. Maybe that could be the reason why. I couldn't really tell you, unfortunately, on that one properly. Chris Jericho wording makes it sound like that the WWE and WF title are different titles. Yeah, it did kind of in a way, but at the same time, I think it comes down to different eras, as I say. That's kind of what it comes down to. But they were kind of different at the time because Jericho won the Undisputed Championship at that time. The Undisputed because it was WWF and WCW combined. Then when he won it the next time, it was like the WWE and the World Championship. So it's like it's potato. It's nitpicking, isn't it, at this stage? But yeah, it is what it is. It's Jericho being Jericho. Who would you sign, like to AEW sign from Impact? Right, the names then easy for me to reel off here. Deonna Purrazzo would be number one. I don't say actually I want AEW to sign all of these, but these are who I would sign if I was AEW. Maybe that's probably how I differ the question slightly, if you don't mind. Because I like Impact. I don't want to see them lose all their best talent. But if you're going to, Deonna Purrazzo would be number one for me. Josh Alexander, number two. Jordan Grace would be number three. I would go with dashing Chris Bay. I think Chris Bay is hugely underrated, and he's actually not used. And he's someone I would like to see go, because when Impact don't have him, they're going to regret that they didn't actually push this guy to the moon, because this guy could have been going for world titles. Ace Austin would be another one for me as well. I think those are the ones that would initially stand out to me. Probably the Good Brothers as well, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, because I did enjoy them in AEW before when they were doing the back and forth. That would be probably more under like rather than that's what I would get in. But again, I could see a lot of sense made of those ones as well. And to finish it off, I think Steve Macklin. I really enjoy Macklin's work at the minute. I think he's doing a great job at Impact. So if Deonna went, take Macklin as well. Nation says, Jericho, Claudio, Castagnolli, the ROH World title match is a hard one to choose. Claudio getting the win over Chris Jericho would be big for him, but Jericho winning the title would add prestige to the title. Like I say, it seems to be the coin toss with everyone on this stream. It was the first match I talked about, and it seems to be the most popular match of the whole stream. I do believe that I'm going with Claudio, but I do see the arguments on both sides. Russell says, got Hook and PN News to win the match. I think we're all in agreement with that one. And Contenders Corner says, I agree they should sign talent from other companies, not just relying on WWE. Just think it mixes things up a little bit as well. You know, it wouldn't be great. But think of MLW, a Jacob Fatu. Now, I'm sure perhaps WWE would probably get in there at this point and be another one for the bloodline. But imagine if AEW could get in first and get him in. Hammerstone as well, another really talented performer as well. There is some great talent in MLW. Just never have time to watch it. That's the only sad part about it. Sinisha says, I would like to see Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. I think we're going to get it a full gear, my friend. With Christian Cage being out for what seems to be a long term for the time being, I do think that we're probably going to have to wait for this one now till the big pay-per-view. So I think full gear will be the placement. And Jones says, have to run now, mate. Keep up the great stream. Thank you very much, Jonesy. Hope you're doing well and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. He says, no, there's an AEW stream. Who is your pick for Rollins and Lashley? And your take on the White Rabbit? As I said earlier, I've got no idea with the White Rabbit. I know people suggested with Karrion Kross. People have also suggested it with Bray Wyatt. I believe you maybe even said Bray Wyatt to me. Could correct me if I'm wrong at a later time. But I have no idea. I really have no idea. But whatever it is, it's exciting, but Karrion Kross was the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground. Maybe it could be a connection to him. Maybe it could be a connection to a stable for him. That would be quite fun. As for prediction for Rollins versus Lashley, I'm going for Lashley to retain. I want Lashley versus Gunther at the Survivor Series. Damn it, I'm not giving up on it. And I think Riddle is going to stop Rollins from winning that championship, and they'll build up to them having a match at Extreme Rules, which I'm hoping will be the Fight Pit, but it could always be Force Count Anywhere, Street Fight, any of the above. Does the winner get a title shot? Something that was called the Royal Rampage. They did for the Royal Rampage, but also this one is for a World Championship shot. If I didn't say that earlier, I should have done. How bad of me. But yeah, pretty much the winner gets a title shot. So that's why I'm going with what I think will be a safe prediction here. I mean, you could say like someone like Jay Lethal could be fun, but he's been in and around the mid-title area. He's been losing matches as well. Penta would be fun to see. Something different as well. But I'm going for a babyface just purely because the babyface versus babyface vibe works for me. And we can always do that if MJF, does walk away with the championship, then it does work as well. But I do feel that if I go with a heel, I'd quite like Rouge or Andrade to be the ones, but it'd be interesting to see how it would play out. Yeah, it could be Karrion. It could be Karrion. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm really stumped on it because it's just an advert on SmackDown. It didn't even happen on the show. It feels like they were just testing the waters on something. Could have even been a mistake. Who knows? But I think they are testing the water. They're teasing something. What it is, I've got no idea at this stage. We've got Riddle costing Seth Freaking Rollins the United States title. Match will be calm because Seth Freaking Rollins cost Cody Rhodes the United States title match. Absolutely. Great memory there. Yeah, that certainly could be the case. I wouldn't be surprised if that was how it would go down. KXI, what's the White Rabbit? If you go onto Twitter, KXI, or even go onto Google, I'm sure you'll find it. Just type in SmackDown, maybe SmackDown adverts, White Rabbit. Just type that in. There'll be a video from Twitter. It's about 45 seconds long, happened in the adverts, and it's just music that was playing. It felt like it was going to be an eerie entrance of some description. In the end, we didn't get anything more. that's pretty much it. So yeah, well, how can I save Dexter Lumis at this point? The story didn't go how we thought it would go, did it? That's a shame that it didn't go the way we thought it would go. Yeah, I would like him to have been a heel, but it feels like you're not going to agree with this, but to save Dexter Lumis. But I think the way is the only way to save it. But so to reunite him as well with Indy Hartwell, and they can do the Index story going forward. Because I don't know, this one got messy real quick. But if we can have Index against Miz and Maurice, for example, it's something, I guess. But yeah, I know that this storyline is no longer your flavor, Jonesy, and I don't think it's going to recover either for your taste. And to be fair, it's not to my taste either. We've seen it enough in NXT. Signature says, to be honest, I like Wardlow's own theme song better than his new one he just used. I think I preferred the old one. I will say my opinion. I'm going to say my opinion on it. I don't like the idea of war being used in music in the current climate in the world right now. So that's why I wanted him to change the music. With the new one, it just didn't connect to me either. So I think it's in the kind of way of saying that I'm not really a fan of either, if I'm honest. But I don't mind a bit of metal music. I think he should have a good metal theme song. Just would try and do something a little bit different. Maybe something a bit catchier as well for me, because neither of them are that catchy. We've got Russell Red says, Jungle Boy wins. It'll be a good match. Did you hear the news that some names that are showing up from Impact also to shock Joe Hendry return? I did see Joe Hendry has returned on Twitter. Unfortunately, I'm 2 weeks behind on Impact Wrestling at the moment. I'm looking to get that fixed because we've got, I believe it's Victory Road coming up next week. I need to get predictions out for that as well. So do keep an eye out. That will be coming. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see that Impact are looking to strengthen up their roster. They probably could do with a few names at this stage. But I do enjoy what they're doing in Impact. They're doing some very good stuff. Do I think Keith Lee should turn heel? It certainly would be something different. It'd be something interesting, something exciting. I think Keith Lee could be the face of your company if you wanted to do it right. But I don't think anyone has booked Keith Lee right since we had him as NXT champion and North American champion. As I said, I think I said that in more brutal depth in the stream earlier this week, Jones. If you want to go back and find it, it was my first Q&A with the NXT one. But what I would say is that I think it could be interesting if they were to do that after this. But yeah, I'm not sure if they will actually do it. But I'd be all for it. And also, where do we see Braun Strowman going? It's really weird, the direction so far. Really is. Alpha Academy seems to be the feud. I'm guessing it's a handicap match if they're going to do it at the POE. It looks like they just want to build Braun Strowman at the minute, and he's destroying bodies. I'm guessing I've not got a problem with the idea of him destroying multiple people. It's just it's always tag teams. Maximum Man Models didn't bother me whatsoever. I thought that was a great way to interrupt that. I need them to get the Alpha Academy one done, and him just to destroy random 24/7 guys. Maximum Models is falling quickly into that category, so I have no problem with that. And if they can have him winning handicap matches, they're probably going to do the right back to him, to be fair. Have him win lots of matches, multiple different opponents, and then eventually when they think the time is right, they'll hotshot him into the title scene. But until that, they're going to use it as an attraction and a guy that is just that big, that strong, that can beat so many dudes at once. Jacob says, who do you want to see Hunter sign? Because news on Hunter keeps surprised, but people didn't mention the name. Who are some that you want to see? Maybe Nick Aldis and Timothy Thatcher. I couldn't see Nick Aldis, if I'm honest, Jacob, but I like the question a lot here. Timothy Thatcher, though, I could see. And the reason for it is because NXT, I think he would be a good fit to go back there. Only Lorcan fits that old style of the black and gold. Timothy Thatcher fits the black and gold of NXT as well. So I wouldn't be surprised with Thatcher. With regards to people that want to come back, or that he wants to come back, it's that time, everybody. I'll give Tom Collier a shout out. He did a stream about a week ago. Some of the names Triple H is interested in. Obviously, Malachi Black is one of them, but perhaps not able to get at this stage. FTR is another team he would like to have in at some point, perhaps not at this stage. Authors of Pain is another one that I remember that are available at this point. Watch this space. C Nation says, I think Impact Wrestling is telling a story where Rich Swann cannot get his Grand Slam Championship or Triple Crown winner because he can't find the right tag team partner. That's a really cool storyline. C Nation, tell me if I'm wrong, but because I know you really want him to win those tag team titles, but when he eventually finds the right person and wins the big one and does it on a big show as well, I imagine you'd have a big yes in the air. That could be a great story that could play out. I hope they start bringing that into storyline narrative. That would be really, really fun. And like you say, when he wins the right tag team partner, he could win those tag team titles. Jonesy as well. He's obviously thrown some questions in before Loomis. Thank you, Jonesy, for keeping us busy. Have you ever noticed that the mixing Loomis AJ Styles has been missing? Hashtag bring back AJ. Yeah, he's not been on TV for the last couple of weeks. I got a double then from Tom Colicue. This is a double. I usually give one. I'm now giving two for you in quick succession as well. There was a draft planned, and it looked like AJ Styles may have been looking to be drafted to Friday Night SmackDown. But that draft looks like it's been delayed for now. So there's no real plans in place for AJ Styles, which may explain why he's currently not on TV. But if you want to link it in with this story, hashtag bring back AJ Styles. Dexter, where are you keeping him? Good review on AEW. Thank you very much, Jacob. I really, really appreciate that. And anything anyone's missed, then yeah, please check out the start of the stream. Jones says White Rabbit carrying Cross looks likely. Certainly could be. It could certainly be. It could be an entrance for Extreme Rules. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun if they was to do that, mix up a little bit. But at the same time, though, I do like the carrying Cross that we've got right now. I wouldn't necessarily change the entrance at this point. I think that's one of his strong points of his gimmick. How weird. Braun Strowman made his debut on Raw, but he signed to SmackDown brand. Where am I posh all of a sudden? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a bit strange, but it feels like a lot of superstars are doing hot potato from show to show. I like how Damage Control explained that we can be here because we have the women's tag team titles. They can be on both shows. Where Braun just goes, yeah, I'm coming out. Alpha Academy, yeah, I'm here as well. I thought Braun might be here, so I'll come here as well. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense at the moment. Street Profits going from show to show as well. I think they want the pop on Raw and then move some of the people over to SmackDown. It's the only explanation I can see for it. But I think Braun being on SmackDown makes more sense. But it seems like he, at the moment, is just going back and forth between both shows. And they're probably when they've got a real placement, an idea for him, that's when they'll do it. As I said, I do think Karrion Kross is more likely than Bray Wyatt at this point, but it was the faction of the show up. Who would it be? I'm not sure, but if the faction was turned up tonight on Raw, I mean, Karrion Kross is a SmackDown guy, so I would save it for SmackDown, but would be interesting, wouldn't it? I'm going to go with Joe Gacy would be good for that group. Say that now. Maybe the Grizzled Young Veterans as well, if they're going to have to stay with that awful gimmick. Braun Strowman getting attacked by Alpha Academy kind of buried him. Well, he didn't. He got the World's Strongest Slam, and then he just completely no-sold it. So I don't think it buried him so badly. But the crowd didn't like that happened. They didn't like that at all. It'd be interesting to see if Braun can remain the babyface. I think he'll be a heel as well at some point further down the line. How do I feel about Joe Hendry return to Impact Wrestling? Also, what if a 10 heel turn in the Battle Royal, throwing Hangman out of Page like Rikishi did to Too Cool, then takes the mask off and leaves? Personally, I actually am really in favor of that idea. They keep teasing the idea of him joining Andrade and Rouge right now. I think that would be an interesting way to do it in this Golden Ticket Battle Royal. Certainly would help Andrade and Rouge get one step closer as well to winning the match. So, yeah, I really like that idea. I think that could be quite fun. Number 10 isn't doing a lot, in my opinion, at the moment in the Dark Order. So, yeah, I'm totally on board with it. Not a big fan of Braun, but happy people is coming back since Hunter's role. And also CW, what if this be a tag team match at Extreme Rules? Braun and returning Eric Rowan against Alpha Academy. I mean, there would be a return. I'm glad you didn't say Nicholas. That's kind of where I'm glad we just weren't going with this. But yeah, absolutely. It could happen. At this point, I think it's going to be a handicap match if they're going to do it at all. Dexter Loomis doing his best 7 impression from WCW. Less said about 7, the better. Jesus. But the indie thing with indie makes no sense. No, it doesn't. But I think they're all going to reunite together. And I think that's where you can kind of feel like it'll make sense eventually. I feel it made less sense when Dexter Loomis felt like he was going to be a heel stalker character. Now he's kind of like got that. Who knows? Maybe Indy's going to be maybe Indy's helping him get into these places. Who knows? Maybe she's part of the act. She's not been seen on NXT for a few weeks since then. I did know he was there in 2018 for a short run. He had a tag team with Grado. Do not know how I remember the little stuff about wrestling. It's fun. I like that you know these little details, C Nation. It adds a bit of flavor and a bit of something fun to the stream. So I keep doing them. I like it. I do remember that. And it was an interesting team at the time. I preferred Joe Hendry when he was doing the ITV show and in Ring of Honor, though, personally. I don't think he was booked that well last time in Impact. Hopefully have a better run this time. I heard a rumor that WWE may be in for Aldis would be a good addition. Where was the rumor from, Jonesy? I'd like to know where that rumor was from because it was said earlier in the stream and I dismissed it. Was I wrong to dismiss it? it could be a good addition. I think Nick Aldis is doing some of the best work of his career. I'm tired of WWE building big wrestlers. Braun Strowman and Omos are doing the same thing right now, but Omos is doing it at a much slower pace now. He seems to be on TV once every few weeks, but I do know what you're saying. Maybe there's a match between the two of them at one point. I hope that Keith Lee doesn't turn heel, says Rick, but I like his theme. I do not want it to be heavy metal low. I hope Swerve turns heel and makes his own hit row in AEW. Be interesting if he was to try and do that. Obviously, it's not going to be with the Acclaimed. That's the rivalry at the minute. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what will happen. I just, like I said, there's so many different directions they can go with Keith Lee. I'm not saying it definitely will happen, but hey, it's going to be fun. What's going on at SCW? Wish I was able to tune in yesterday's stream. Thank you, Martin. I mean, it's there, available if you ever get time to go back and check it out. It was a fun discussion. Roman Reigns against Logan Paul, the main event for, of course, the show that's going to be taken on Crown Jewel. Does anyone feel that Extreme Rules feels less important? I didn't mention that yesterday, but it does feel a lot less important now that that's mentioned. But of course, you're here with us today's stream. I have already given all the predictions for the AEW Grand Slam. For anyone that's actually tuning in now, go back and you can see all the matches. I'll do timestamps as well at the end of the video. But also, yeah, we're now sort of Q&A format now until things kind of die down. That's pretty much it really now. We've got Serena says, if Rich Swann wins the Impact Tag Team titles, I may cry out tears of happiness because you've wanted it so long, C Nation. I wouldn't blame you. And that's good that that emotion can come out in a fan as well. We've got Tyler Breeze can come back, and if so, maybe Fandango on NXT or Raw and make them the sleaze heel and join with Austin Theory as a faction heel heat. I like that idea. That's different, Rick. I like that. Sounds a lot of fun. I also thought that people said Maximum Male Models would be great for them before. I could agree with that as well. And I do think them just being Breezango on NXT, Triple H seemed to be a fan of those guys. So yeah, I'd be down for it. Martin asks, how do you feel about Tony Khan and AEW now than it was 2 years ago? I feel that AEW is going through its most difficult period as a company to this point. And I think for them, it's going to be, I don't want to say a sink or swim moment. I don't think that they're any danger of going anywhere. That I would say. But what I would say is that what they present on TV is still good. What's been going on backstage has created a lot of drama, a lot of buzz. Some creates intrigue to watch the television product. Their ratings have gone up. But at the same time, it's not a good look. And it will put some wrestlers off either staying in that company or signing with that company. And that's where it can do more damage in the long term. Because if people start leaving AEW, then you could start seeing a downfall spiral with ratings and stuff like that. Let's say, for example, MJF, The Elite, and CM Punk all leave AEW over the next 12 months. Let's say then that Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole don't re-sign with the company. More people request their releases. All of a sudden you start thinking, who am I tuning? Who's the main star? You still got Chris Jericho that's still around, but who are the other people I'm tuning in to see? And that can create a bit of a buzz or a bit of a, let's say, a lack of buzz. So that's kind of where I feel with AEW. They need to steady the ship of what's going on. They need to use the experienced heads they have backstage and use it to calm the storm that's going on right now. That's what they need to do. But for an on-screen television product, I don't think it's as good either as what it was 2 years ago. I will say that. I think that it's like writing a difficult third album. They're on their third year of doing wrestling. It's not easy to do that. I think that their pay-per-views should be shorter, or they should do one a month at this stage. That's where I'm at. There's too many talents that have to be on these shows. 13, 14 matches is far too much. At least when you have it in this format with Grand Slam this week at Arthur Ashe, it's split over 2 shows on 2 different days, which means I've got a refresh point. And I don't think that AEW should do all their pay-per-views as 2-night events either. I think it's just another way of conning fans out of a lot of money. So for me, I'm not a favor of that idea. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts now on AEW at this precise stage. And I'm interested to see what they'll do going forward. And I hope that they do turn things around, because I am a fan of what AEW does and what they present to the table. As you've probably seen, I do quite a number of AEW heavy topic themed streams these days. So yeah, I want them to continue being successful, and I want other places for wrestlers to work, because if you're not in WWE, you need to have that other alternative, a place you can get that exposure. AEW is a place right now that you can definitely get that. Nation says Rich Swann wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Trophy at Bound for Glory and then cashes in and wins the Impact Tag Team Championships with a returning Willie Mack would make my year. I could tell that would make your year. And do you know what? I think it's a great suggestion as well. I really hope, Nation, that happens for you. KXI, they should join Maximum Male Models if they return. I'm guessing that's Breeze Ango. They would be a good fit for that group. There's no arguments in that at all. Who wins between Drew and Karrion? Neither can afford a loss. Right now, Karrion. Karrion needs the win more than Drew. Drew can go through a start. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my video, Jonesy, yet on the How I Would Book Extreme Rules. I want Drew McIntyre to go through a downward spiral story. I want Drew McIntyre to be a guy who almost, you saw the video packages before Clash of the Castle, how he went to hit rock bottom and had to pick himself back up. I want that storyline again. I want Drew to fall to the point where he feels, am I good enough to be in this company anymore? Am I going to be the Drew McIntyre that was there in 2014 that lost control of his character? That's what I want to see. And I want Drew to start turning it around WrestleMania season and get a big WrestleMania win, where that way you can start building him back up then to go back into the title picture. Because after Clash of the Castle, Drew McIntyre is not going to be going back for that title again anytime soon, it seems. And it feels like Roman's not dropping it anytime soon. So if we're going to do Drew versus Roman again, Drew needs to win it next time. And for me, that needs to be given a good space of time. Karrion Kross, if he was to lose this match now, you're starting to go back into Karrion Kross of Vince McMahon territory. Even though he's been presented in a much better way, Karrion needs the win. And I'm fully confident he picks up that win. And I wouldn't be surprised, though, if this carries over now to Crown Jewel, now that we know it's going to be Roman versus Logan. By the way, Rich Swann and Josh Alexander lost the Impact Tag Team title match by DQ, and that made me so mad. But I understand they want OGK to have a good reign. That's still why they just won the title, so I wanted to have a good reign with those championships. Plus, Josh Alexander being a double champion as well. I mean, he's got the world title to worry about as well. So for me, I'm okay with it for the time being. Like I said, it's finding the right partner. KXI says Drew can take an L, and I agree, he can take an L at this stage. And KXI also saying that probably going to be his story going forward, losing until he turns heel. Ooh, maybe that could be the direction. Maybe, you know, he feels he let everybody down, and the only way to pick himself back up is to not focus on the people, but to focus on himself. I know in the previous streams, some people suggested about bringing the Scottish psychopath back. Maybe not against that idea. Underground Temple Plays, how's things going? Hope you're doing well. Mox versus Danielson and MJF cashes in this chip to beat the X2 WWE guys. Thank you for sharing your prediction, Underground. We have got similar minds, although I do think there'll be a result first off before MJF cashes the chip in. That's my slightly different prediction to yours. But yeah, I think it's either way, MJF is walking away with the championship. Jones says, I was shocked they had damage control run away from Shotzi Blackheart. Anyone would think that she is Sting versus NWO. Loving the comparison there. How did you know I was watching WCW a lot late? But yeah, Shotzi Blackheart, I mean, I'm pleased to see her as a babyface. That's what I'm going to say first and foremost. She came out, she got one of the women out of the ring. I believe it was Dakota Kai. Then she managed to sort of get an advantage. It seemed like it was going to be over Io Sky. Bayley did the run. I think they did it okay the way that they did it, but I get your point. And Shotzi hasn't done anything of real note probably for about the whole year, I would argue. I think Survivor Series time last year when she was in the feud with Sasha Banks is the last credible feud she had in WWE. So I would say that the fact that Raquel perhaps would have come around, maybe the 2 out of 3, that may have been why they get away with it. Shotzi turning babyface is the thing that I'll take positivity out of it. But damage control for me, not such damage control in this. I think that as they're heels, heels do run away from baby faces far too often. I'd like to see more strong heels in general going forward. And it does feel that when you've got, say, for the Bloodline, for example, they're more of a stronger heel, or Karrion Kross more of a stronger heel. So maybe damage control will fall under that radar at some point. But at this point, they do seem to be playing it safe and not batting when they don't need to. Nation says Rich Swann and Josh Alexander are my 2 favorite Impact wrestlers, so then winning the tag team titles would have been so cool. 2 very good choices for Impact favorite wrestlers. I got to say, big fan of both of them. I think they do really, really well. Underground, I had a full stream on this yesterday. We spoke, myself and Tina's time, for about a good half an hour. I could go for half an hour talking about this. All I'll say is I know that you're not a big fan of the match. I would say in a shortest abbreviation term I can give you, on the face of things, I'm not a fan of the match either, because I think it takes away from superstars that are there all year round, that are building themselves up for this spot to have a match on pay-per-view or premium live event against Roman Reigns. But if you're going to do Logan Paul as an attraction match, and that's what this is, it's an attraction match, Logan Paul on this show makes the most sense. It makes more sense to do it on Crown Jewel than anywhere else. You don't know with other celebrities in wrestling how it's going to work out. Gronkowski didn't last very long, went back to going playing football. Logan signed with WWE, but we don't know how long he's going to be around. They're going to try and maximize the time of his fan base that he has to bring a new audience in. And that's why I think they're doing this match. He is impressed in the 2 matches he has had. And I think the match is actually going to be a match that's going to surprise a lot of people. I think it will be a good match at Crown Jewel. I'm fine with it because Roman's going to win. There's no chance that Logan wins this match, in my opinion. But I think that everything they've done with the press conference, with the storyline thing, I think it's been fine. And I'm kind of actually giving you everything here, but in a very short and abbreviation way. If you look at the other people that could be in the match, KO doesn't do Saudi Arabia, neither does Sami Zayn, so you can't do the Sami Zayn storyline yet. Braun Strowman's too soon, Karrion Kross is too soon, you'll damage them losing to Roman. We've just had Drew McIntyre. Bobby and Seth are feuding at the minute, and Riddle can't go for the championship. Randy's out injured. Who else is there? There is an open spot at this point where it feels like it's almost a nothing show for Roman to face someone. It might as well be someone like Logan Paul, where you can build on these podcasts for 7 weeks that does extremely well, like they did with Pat McAfee building to WrestleMania. Use the podcast, use it to build everything. And I think that's what they're doing with it. So that's why, if I'm honest, I'm in favor that they're doing it, but I'm in favor of it because of where it is, how it is, and why it is for now. And I don't think that Logan wins. If Logan was to win, it would be like David Arquette winning the title, but it's not going to happen. Preston Vance to join Andrade and Rouge, maybe. Potentially. Someone suggested it earlier. I think it would be awesome. They keep teasing it on every week on AEW TV, so no smoke without fire. I think it will happen, just when, not if. But the Battle Royal could be a good place to do it. Cination says, Dexter Lumis should have a restraining order with The Miz. Makes no sense. Completely agree. It makes zero sense. Not really a fan of the storyline anymore. Dexter Lumis is the heel. Even Corey Graves is like the babyface on commentary when they're talking about it. Master says, I personally would like to see the guys like Ace Austin and Chris Bay in the Triple H era. I would make them one of the many pillars of the company. It's a great shout. I mean, that's the thing. Triple H would probably look at those guys and think, there's a lot of years on these guys. I now would bring them in, where you would say arguably 6 months ago, they'd have no chance of going to WWE. So, and they would be great for NXT as well. Great shout, Martin. I've got to say, very good shout indeed. I have lost where I'm at with the stream here. Let's come and find it. There we go. Underground says, Underground, if you see the Preston Vance mask, it looks similar to Andrade's when he comes out. Yeah, it does. I had to think about it for a minute. I don't see number 10 that often on there. I don't watch Dark and Dark Elevation, so I rarely see him on my TV. But I think you make a good point. Joe Hendry joining with Swinger and Impact will be hilarious. Yeah, they work. Do you know what? Have them do a karaoke sing-off. That would be awesome. The rumor is from Zero News. Okay, fair play. I'm not familiar with their stuff, but good with where that rumors come from. We'll see if it plays out and if it's true. Time will tell. Almost has not improved after 1 year. He's not improved after however many years he's been in WWE. It's a shame because the guy had star quality. When he had his first match at WrestleMania 37, people were invested. Now they're not invested, and unfortunately it's because he's not that good in the ring. It's just not that good. So I think I can see him being someone that's not going to be around on TV very, very much. If anything, actually, with rumor mill that I've seen, there isn't actually a lot of plans for Amos on the table right now, which is why you may just see him in squash matches only on Raw. Preston joining Andrade would just be random and not very interesting, says KXI. Well, that's my kind of feeling, is that it can happen, but where does the story go afterwards? I mean, Andrade's been he's had the AFHO as well. That was a bit boring. I just like him in the team with Rouge. So if I had what I want, I agree with you. But what I think will happen, I think it will happen. Do I think the tag team titles change next week due to a Sammy screwing up? No, I don't. I think the Brawling Brutes will put in a great effort, but I do think that the Usos will retain. I think Sammy will screw up somewhere in the match. I think there will be dissension, but I think the Usos will find a way to retain. I think the Bloodline are set to be the most dominant faction in WWE history. If Roman's not dropping those championships anytime soon, neither are the Usos. And I'm starting to think, Underground, you're going to like this. I'm thinking that you could be right. The Sammy storyline is not going to break. It's not going to happen until we get to around WrestleMania time. I think that we could even see the dissension carry on through Survivor Series. Around Royal Rumble time, the breakup can happen, and then it will build to WrestleMania. And I think it'll be Sammy and KO then that do it. But Underground, you must be very happy that I think exactly like you, that they're not going to push the button and push the trigger. What's really fun with the Bloodline dynamic as well is Solo Sikoa and Roman seem very happy with Sammy right now. Jimmy's in the middle. Paul Heyman's not happy with Sammy. fun stuff. I quite like it. I'm not going to lie. Almost is hurting MVP's manager role because MVP hasn't been able to make almost a star yet. I do kind of agree. I think MVP could be used better off somewhere else in the roster now. If you're not going to push almost, put MVP somewhere else. I would agree. Swerve's AEW version of Hit Row Private Party and Swerve, maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ridiculous stuff. Hey, we like fantasy booking underground. No suggestion is a bad suggestion. And I got to say, I'm all right with that. I think it'll be okay. And as KXI said, that could be interesting. I agree. C Nation says, it's funny how AEW were saying WWE's backstage was so toxic, but the comment has bit them so hard. Absolutely. It has bit them very hard indeed. And it goes to show sometimes that maybe it's best to concentrate on what you're doing and not what other people are doing. Best way. Goes in all forms of life. Jonesy, what do you think the Miz did against Dexter Loomis? And Dexter is doing this or for someone else as a hired hand, Bray would make sense based on past. That would make sense based on past. But I don't know. This is the thing. There's no logical explanation for any of this anymore. There is no explanation. That, I think, is probably as good as you're going to get as a base explanation. I don't know. Could it be the fact that Johnny's going to bring back the way and they don't like the way that Miz is treating Ciampa as a second win in the group? But then Ciampa wasn't part of the way. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Thoughts on the firm? Literally, the firm, I think that they are doing the best of what they've been given. They should be with MJF. They started helping MJF, and now they're doing, we'll sometimes help him, we sometimes won't. We're basically just, we'll be there when MJF needs us. We're the firm. As Jones said earlier, with the estate agents, with the realtors. Literally, that's pretty much their role. I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't have much more of a tie with the firm and MJF. But I like that Stokely did what he could to present this group as something as credible as possible. His mic work is fantastic. He's second to none. I really think that Stokely is one of the most underrated mouthpieces in all of wrestling. I think starting to show through more for more people now, and this group can help have that real breakout. I like with the group that they have direction in places as well. I always got to say the Arse Boys first before the Gun Club, but the Guns want to go for the tag titles. Ethan Page, the Atlantic, Lee Moriarty, the Pure Rules Championship. So I mean, they have a place that they all are going to go for. W. Morrissey needs love, apparently. Yeah, but apart from that, it's as good as it can be. But the firm, it's a very weak name. Perry Kerry in-house. Thank you, Perry Kerry. I don't know both of you, but I hope that Tony pulls a Vince just one-off Acclaim wins the tag belts, then shake hands, and then a Swerve turn on Lee. And it was a setup, and the Acclaim and Swerve are with Billy Gunn as heel. I mean, they're so over as a babyface act. That's my only thing that I'd be against that. Otherwise, I would think that would be mad fun and creative. And then they can cut a promo and make the crowd mad. I mean, if they could make the crowd mad at this point, they would have to do something major to get the heel heat because they are so over. It's unbelievable how over they are. I feel like they are. They I think will be the most popular act of the entire week coming up with Grand Slam. That's how popular I think they're going to be, and that includes the hometown people. Jones says, although Triple H isn't reinventing the wheel with WWE, he deserves a ton of credit for taking a fairly limited roster with diminished credibility and turning it into its best thing on TV. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you have to undo all the work that has been done before that's harmed characters. I mean, the thing is, let's be honest here, people have been talking negative about Braun Strowman in places on this stream. On other streams we've done as well. Some have been saying positive stuff as well, so we'll just say that very quickly for those who do speak highly and think highly of Braun. But it comes from the damaged booking the guy had. If the guy came back in and had been destroying tag teams, if Nicholas had never happened, I know it harms tag team wrestling, all the rest of it, but we would have a different sense of it. It's like, well, yeah, of course it's Braun Strowman. He was a top guy in WWE. He was the main eventer, the guy's main event. Of course, the main event, Undertaker used to choke slam every tag team on his own. He could do that. There is those things, and you have to work hard to get everything back into place and get everything into redirection. Triple H is going to focus on one thing at a time. I think he's doing a good job overall. Like I say, he deserves a ton of credit for what he has done. And the thing is, he's not stopping. When he does one good thing, he doesn't think, right, I've done that, I stop there. I'm on to the next thing. Is it too many things in one go? I'm not sure. But at the same time, he's looking to fix NXT as well. That's great. Tag teams, I think, will be on the agenda. They seem to have been left further off at the second, but he needed to fix the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. He's done great with both. He's doing a lot of good things right now in WWE. Why is Dexter Lumis going after The Miz? Miz did nothing. Did The Miz look at him wrong? Probably that's what it is at this point. He looked at him wrong. Like I said, I've got no idea. Perry says the new hit row with Swerve and Acclaimed Scissor Me Daddy. Just feels dirty, doesn't it, when you say it like that? When it's hit row. Nah, it's gotta be Swerve. It's gotta be Bowens and Billy Gunn for me. Imagine a non-wrestling fan saying "Scissor Me, Daddy." I know exactly. Trying to explain to a non-wrestling fan is very, very difficult. The worst part is as well. It's one of those catchphrases that stays in your brain as well. So if you're in the wrong place, you want to say it out loud. It's not good, is it? Yeah, it doesn't feel right. KXI says, do you think Dexter will face The Miz? I think the tagline this year is going to be Horror Show. I think we're going to get some sort of goofy stip like a House of Horrors match. To be fair, at this point, do it because it at least it's direction for the feud. The feud's not going anywhere, so at least that's something there, KXI. So I'm actually down for that idea if they want to do the Horror Show, if I'm being brutally honest. I have no idea why, how long for, where we're going to go with this long term. But if you could do something like that, just to do it and end it, do it. That's what I say at this point. Joe says, hit row are so dull, silly hire. They should be getting destroyed by Braun instead of Chad Gable, who, if booked right, could be a future world champion. The match on Raw is fantastic. Absolutely was. And that's why Triple H said Chad Gable and Gargano knew what we were getting. We were getting a fantastic match. Chad Gable is that character right now he's a goofy heel. He's kind of got the Kurt Angle vibes going on, but not at the main event level. Chad may still get his moment to go up the card. He may get his moment. I'd like to see him go into the mid-card title scene before going to a world champion, but like you say, a future potentially. Hit row is interesting because they've just come back. Where I can say I think you could be right in 6 months from now, I don't agree with it now because if they are booked bad now, it makes Triple H look bad. Like, why did he bring them back? They're just jobbers. So I thought this week with the tag team match they did on SmackDown, for example, with Top Dollar, he had some, if I'm not mistaken, a dude that's kind of not had a lot of time in the wrestling ring. Dude got some mad spots in the match. He would look good in that match. And I think they did a great way of presenting him going forward. And if they can do good things with Hit Row, maybe they'll be better turned out than what we think. I actually thought they were going to win that match. I thought they were going to be the ones to go against the Usos now. So like you said, then they can fall down the pecking order. Then it's okay for them to have Braun do that to them in a couple of months' time from now. But it feels like not yet. And if they can get them over, then fair. I mean, if you find them dull, that's totally fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on it. I feel that they're okay. I wouldn't say they're my favorite thing on any WWE show, but they're not my least favorite either. I think that they have a character work that can stand out, but they need to present that further. And I think they need to get them away from the maximum male models to do that. Underground says Willie Mack is signed with MLW and a part of the Aztec Underground. That is similar to Lucha Underground. There you go. How long is he signed to MLW? Just because I think C-Nation really wants him back in Impact. And KXI says, nah, I rock with Hit Row. They are fine. No need to bury him. Not just yet. Not just yet. Maybe see where they are in 3 to 6 months. If it's not connecting, by all means, do it. But not just yet. But I think where Jonesy is going from, I'm just going to defend Jonesy here for a second. He rates Hit Row over Alpha Academy. I don't think Alpha Academy should be getting buried by Braun Strowman either at this stage. But they are a very credible team. And I think that's why it has more weight with doing it with Alpha Academy. But I would prefer someone like Los Lotharios, if I'm honest. Willie Mack still could go to Impact Wrestling because Impact works with different wrestling companies. The Forbidden Door is Impact Wrestling. Would you like to see Tozawa R-Truth more on Raw TV? Yes, I would. R-Truth is fine, has his moments. Tozawa, for me, I'd like to see in a more serious role. I'd like to go back to Cruiserweight Classic Tozawa. I was a big fan of that dude. He's actually really mad talented in the ring, and he's not presented that way at all. Still quite a few questions in at the moment, so I'll keep going for the time being. Drew McIntyre could turn heel after the loss to Karrion Kross at Extreme Rules to go back where it all started, him with the IC title off Walter. Possibility. That's a match I'd really like to see, Drew versus Gunther. I'd really like to see that match. And that could be a good follow-on story, actually, from that. I have a feeling that Drew and Cross could go over multiple shows. I feel that Extreme Rules will be part 1. I think Crown Jewel was part 2. Then I don't know if it carries on to day 1 after that. Maybe SmackDown will be the final match. So it probably will be a one-on-one. But if they want to do that match afterwards, I'm here. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. What if we get a lights out match at Extreme Rules with Cross and Drew, because Drew's promo light out, and then this White Rabbit is Cross, and Cross takes it all from Drew, and then Drew joins Cross as a badass force. I mean, you know, TikTok, if that's the case, if it's all in the mind control. I don't want that to happen, though, if I'm honest. I don't see them on myself personally, but I always appreciate creativity. WWE should tell a story where Drew McIntyre cannot win the big one in front of a crowd and can only do it when no one is watching in person. I think that's an awesome idea, C Nation. I really, really do. I think they should play that story in. I agree with that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I've seen here a suggestion from Underground saying to Zawa, move him into the new NXT. I think that'd be a good shout and pair R-Truth with The Miz, and then we turn some Ciampa. Awesome Truth versus DIY could be decent. Liking that. Fun suggestion. Really fun suggestion. I think then there was getting the old Drew McIntyre goes heel, but more on a repackaged route. We could get a downward Drew, joint, Cross, and Scarlett. Certainly would make him a lot stronger. Sination says Shotzi's tank might come back soon. Now she's a babyface. I wouldn't be surprised. Someone, I can't remember who said it on the last stream, but said the idea of Triple H getting on with that tank as well. Could be like the old WCW days, invading there. Why not invade AEW Dynamite? Sorry if any AEW fans are still watching. Jonesy, so with Shotzi now with Raquel, what does this mean for Raquel? Maybe Raquel has a group that can go for damage control. Aaliyah's still in the mix, still the tag team partner for now. And that could be the direction. 3 versus 3 could be on SmackDown coming up next week. That's what I think could happen. I think Raquel should join Damage Control. Would be amazing. Leading Bayley versus Raquel at WrestleMania. I said this idea on Collier's stream over that. Actually, I think that would be awesome to have her a part of that. Like almost like an evolution, but like Raquel's like the Batista role. And when you're ready for the right moment, boom, push her forward. I do think so. I think Raquel as a heel makes more sense right now, but SmackDown is crying for baby faces. And one thing I would say is smiling Raquel is starting to fade away. Even though she's a babyface, she's starting to become Big Mama Cool. And that's the character I want for Raquel. So we have that character against Bayley, whether it's with Damage Control, against Damage Control, I'm fine with it. So that's personally what I would like to see. What do you want to see Roman Reigns doing at Survivor Series? Oh, Jonesy, I have a video coming out on this. And it's going to be a short one as well. Probably less than 10 minutes. But what I'll do is I would say at this point, as you can't do Raw versus SmackDown with Roman, as he has both championships, I would possibly look to lean that Roman just defends the championships at Survivor Series, but I'm not going to say any more at this stage. But yeah, I think a title defense rather than champion versus champion. That's what I'll go with. But I have got 3 different ideas for Roman Reigns. I'm teasing it. I'm leaving that tease in there now. Hit notifications if you want to know when that video goes live. Underground Temple plays. Who's taking the most L's in 2022 in WWE? Sami Zayn or Seth Rollins? I've lost count, to be fair, my friend. Probably Sami at this point, but neither guy has it harmed either guy. Every person loves these two, so I don't think it's hurting either of them. Okay, so I remember I saw in an article saying Raquel should join Judgment Day. That would be cool to see. Yeah, I mean, her and Rhea Ripley as a duo, damn, that would be a force, wouldn't it? But at the moment, Rhea's doing great stuff on her own, and I think she stands out as the only female in that group. I don't think another female needs to join at this point, but it would be cool. I won't lie. It would be cool. Would be dominant as another dominant force in that group. Perry Carey, strange but interesting. What if Josh Alexander was to turn on Rich Swann and join with Honor No More? Then Eddie gets attacked, turns face. When Kurt turns to join the main event, Mafia. Good throwback there for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening at the time being, but I can see Eddie Edwards eventually being kicked out of Honor No More. If the leader doesn't get what he wants out of things and being kicked out of the group, I think that would be fun. If they were to do that, like you said, that's very naughty's TNA. That if they did something like that, so yeah, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be fun. We've got, I think Rich Swann's right tag team partner should be Sammy Callahan because they have so much history. That's a good shout there. Liking that. Roman losing the titles at Survivor Series versus Drew versus Cross, maybe. 2 and 4's triple threat for both titles. Underground, similar. I have a similar, but the concept is one of the 3 ideas. It's one of the 3 ideas. But the competitors are slightly different. My reasoning is different as well. It doesn't see Roman losing this year. Neither do I. I don't see Roman losing this year, I'll be honest. So a YouTube comment, someone said Seth versus Roman at Survivor Series. I think that's the Shield's 10-year anniversary. It is the Shield's 10-year anniversary. That would be a fun match to have at Survivor Series. I won't lie to you. And I think it make a lot of sense to do so as well if they want to, because like you said, the 10-year anniversary, and Seth is the only person to beat Roman Reigns in a very, very long time. I've even lost count how long it's been, but he's not been pinned for over 1,000 days. Dirty Heels approved. And do you know what? Makes this stream always so much better. I know when I'm Dirty Heels approved. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for checking out the stream. Always doing awesome content over there. Joe Hendry videos are funny. I saw all of his videos in other companies, and they were funny. They are indeed. I think the guy is a very good comedic wrestler. Like his comedy, he's a karaoke style as well. I can see. Let's hope not. Look, to be fair, I will say this very quickly, C Nation. As much as I say that he's not up to scratch with everything, I don't want to see anyone lose their job. That for me would be even though you say you could see it, I'm not saying you say you want it to happen and people could see it. I still hope that doesn't happen. More of a conversation here to Jonesy, but I'm going to bring it up because my stream, I want to get involved in the conversation. You think we're getting Roman versus Rocket Mania for the titles, as I feel the match doesn't need the titles? Well, I see what Jonesy said to that in a second. If I can find it. Can't find it anywhere in the near future. But so I will say, I don't think the match needs the titles. I'd like it to happen in WrestleMania. Not sure if it will happen. Almost should do a dancing gimmick like Kurgan. Would be life-changing. Or Tensai. Tensai had a good one. And what was his name? Brodus Clay at the time as well. But we've got Dancing Shanky. What happened to Dancing Shanky, everybody? Who misses Dancing Shanky? Come on, let me know in the comments. Factions in AEW are out hounded AEW. There is always members joining and leaving. I can't keep up anymore. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of gang warfare. It's kind of a bit New Japan as well. I think they have a lot of that with their factions going on as well. But I sort of keep up. But I do know what you mean, though. Sometimes that so many people have been in so many different stables, you kind of feel like, God, from week to week. If you took like a fortnight off and then you come back, I can understand why people would kind of get a bit lost. Joseph says they should build a stable of Veer, Omos, and Barry Horowitz. Call them the Team Victory. They will change WWE forever. Do it. Just do it. This is my favorite faction suggestion. I mean, C Nation, we could keep up with that one, couldn't we? That would be a fun one to see. And also, notice how Ciampa has gone missing. Also, Dexter. Someone explain this to me, Dexter. What's going on? Underground, I know this will never happen, but never say never in pro wrestling. Logan beats Roman and Theory cashes in. Imagine the internet. Yeah, you can imagine the internet. Like I say, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if Logan did it, and then all those casuals got that, and then Theory cashed in, you would be building a new star because people would be watching. People that wouldn't normally be watching would go, this is this Austin Theory guy. You got a reason to carry Theory and Logan Paul to another show as well. But Roman, after all that time to lose to Logan Paul, I think that would leave a sore feeling in a lot of people's stomachs. But the Twitter meltdown, to be fair, that would be quite entertaining. I'm sorry. I know that's going to anger people, but to be fair, sometimes it's fun to see Twitter upset. It can be fun because I don't really get involved on Twitter anymore. People may have noticed that. I just promote content now. I don't get involved in it because every time I do put something on there, I either hire accounts, take it, and use those tweets that I put out, or they get they get literally people just trolling all the time. So I just do content now. C Nation Dog, Rich Swann and Justin Thunder could become the AEW Tag Team Champions after he loses the World Championship. Certainly could happen. I want to see Eddie Edwards win the World title at Bound for Glory. That would free Josh up. AEW's backstage being toxic makes grass isn't greener on the other side. Quote, so true. Certainly does. C Nation. It feels that Veer hasn't come into Triple H's era, or has he, SCW? To be honest, the less about Veer coming, I don't really want to know where he's coming, to be honest, anymore. But to be fair, he came to Raw after a long time. Maybe it takes him that long to come into Triple H's era. I'm not saying anymore. I'll get flagged otherwise. Nation says AEW is making the firm look stupid. They are fine with MJF using them. Absolutely, they're fine with MJF using them, but I'd have liked to see MJF keep them. But I guess what's going down with the Pinnacle? They've reunited with Wardlow and FTR. Did MJF just stop that group? I don't know. We've never really gotten into that. Anyway, Veer still needs to be repackaged as Veer Mahan, and he can start a 2022 version of the Truth Commission. Smell the ratings, fella. Hold on. I'm spelling those ratings. There they are. There they are. Over the 3 million barrier there. Easy. Martin says, would you rather have the Dexter Loomis as your champion or R-Truth? At this point, neither. R-Truth, he's the legend, isn't he? He deserves a chance at the top one. So he's that good, isn't he? So R-Truth is KXI's pick as well, actually, there. The biggest travesty under Triple H is the dancing Reginald. They need to bring him back and to add into the male models. Jonesy, I feel you're trolling me here. I really do. I remember those SmackDown reviews that me and you did back in 2021 and how much Reggie used to grind your gears. To be fair, as the maximum male models, I think actually fit that group really well. So actually, in a way, I hope that you're not trolling me. But yeah, that would be a way to use him, to be fair. That would be a way. I'm tired of the NXT rebranding. NXT 3.0 should stay for over 1 year. Well, I hope it stays for a long, long time. If it stays for only 1 year and we get 4.0, it would become a running joke at this point. And I think people would lose faith in value of the brand that is NXT. I think WWE would arguably have to get rid of it altogether. I'm really going that far with it. Undergrad says, I kind of want to see the old R-Truth. Remember the time when he was smoking a cigarette? We need that R-Truth back before he retires. Yeah, he had a bit of had that gimmick. It was like 2010, 2011. I mean, to be fair, I like the heel R-Truth that was around at the time. It was a little bit cuckoo, but then he's so darn funny as well. R-Truth is just natural at being funny, and I just like to see him in a more prominent role, really. Let's say a bit shaky with rumors. I don't know with what that comment was there, Jonesy, but I'll take your word for it. Dexter Loomis, look at AJ Styles when he debuted, so it makes no sense why he went after The Miz. Yeah, I have no clue where it's going. No clue at all. Perry Carey, like I said, the Acclaimed is in the era New Age Outlaws. As a team, I was like, this name is catchy but weird. Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody. Is it me? Oh, is it? Yeah, exactly. Is it me or is it the D-O-double-G? Yeah, to be fair, that's what they claimed are. They are that good. I just got so much to do with the catchphrases, so forgive me. I'm not breaking into a Max Caster rap, though, if anyone was wondering afterwards. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, they have that appeal. And that's why I think it's such a good fit with Billy Gunn being a part of this group. And they've taken the ingredients of what worked for them back then and made this group get so over. This group right now, the Acclaimed, would work in any company and they would be big in any company. If they were ever available, I wouldn't be surprised if other companies came sniffing around. And yes, we've been talking about WWE included. That's just me speculating and having an opinion. Okay, so Austin Theory should have Dexter's first feud. Would make a lot more sense. Would make a lot more sense. That makes so much sense and then would link with The Way with Johnny Gargano. But that's just me. Do you think Hank Walker can be the new Big Boss Man? Calling it now. Yeah, he's the guy who looks a bit like Seth Rogen, isn't he? He does have that vibe, doesn't he? He could be. I would like that. That'd be fun to bring that in. I think that'd be really, really cool. I like it. KXI, sure, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I think it'd be a good idea. He should do that. I think it'd be cool. Chad Gable is better than Jason Jordan on the mic and in the ring. I was a big fan of American Alpha. Breaking them up was the biggest mistake at that point. I was a big fan of that tag team. Thought they deserved a better run in WWE. But if you're going to go with character work and stuff like that, we never got to see the true potential of Jason Jordan. But Chad Gable has been doing amazing. Thank you, Jonesy. That means a lot that you think this Q&A has been great. Thank you so much. It's been great to have everybody involved with your questions as well. It says, all jokes aside, I'd love to see a tag team form of Gable and Shelton with MVP. Would be like a team angle or world's greatest tag team. Love that suggestion. I think that'd be fun. I really like that idea. Really, really cool. Underground says, I have just thought of something outrageous. Go on then, give it to us. What about Hit Row needs a mouthpiece? MVP could be that guy. What are your thoughts? How's MVP's karaoke skills? That's my first. I mean, I want Hit Row to have someone with the singing skills, but as Jonesy said a minute ago, all jokes aside, why not? That could work. MVP works better as a heel, so the group I suppose have to turn heel. But I do think that they have easy tendencies to do a heel version of, to go heel if they need to. So yeah, I wouldn't be against it. It would make some use of MVP better use than he's got now. Hit Row are like the no frills version of the Acclaimed, except they are not over. They're not over yet. I think that's the thing. The Acclaimed have been getting over for like 2 years. Hit Row with this audience have had like 5 minutes. So they had 3 weeks last year on SmackDown before and released. I think they've been around for like 5 weeks now. Like you said, with Triple H, just give it a chance. I think maybe Hit Row could do, but they can't go full on Max Caster because otherwise it's like a basic carbon copy, isn't it? So yeah, for me though, yeah, of course I'm much more favor of the Acclaimed of the two. Alpha Academy also got destroyed by Brock Lesnar this year, so Braun Strowman isn't burying them. They're already buried. It's brutal, but there's a little bit of truth to it. Alpha Academy have not been winning like that and not been doing much since WrestleMania. And I'm a big I actually really like Alpha Academy, so it kind of hurts a little bit to read that, C Nation. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so it says, then with MVP could be interesting, but they have B-Fab for a reason, and it's not for her in-ring work. And I mean, B-Fab is fantastic mouthpiece. So KXI, you make a good point. I'd like her to remain the mouthpiece for the group. So yeah, maybe it's not needed. That's something I didn't consider at the start. So yeah, brilliant point. Raquel Rodriguez was in the tag team with Dakota Kai, so her joining Damage Control would make sense. Totally agree. And just don't give them the tag titles, C Nation. I think you would agree with that after your comments on yesterday's stream with the women and the tag team titles. But did you see Dakota Kai's Instagram post? She was celebrating that she held the championships for 4 days because it's the longest reigning women's tag team title reign she's had so far, and it's her third one. Martin says, imagine an Emelina is coming from now till next year's WrestleMania. Almost as long as Veer then at this point, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know if she will come back, but I would not Emelina. I'd like Emma to come back. I think she would be a good fit for the SmackDown roster. If I'm going to be honest with you, they could do with another female that's got a bit more experience. I think SmackDown has some experience on their roster. Obviously, they've got a fun roster, but some of them don't have so many years under their belt. Emelina's been doing this for well over a decade, so I think that she could be quite handy for the SmackDown side right now. And of course, their partner Mac Atmos is there as well. Do I think Liv Morgan should turn heel, maybe blaming the fans for her title run failure? Well, she has to blame somebody. She can't blame Triple H and creative, can she? Because that's where the blame really should be going. That's the one thing I would say that Triple H has let down so far. They've let Liv Morgan down. The fact that she got so over her moment of Money in the Bank, won the SmackDown Women's Championship, they did the story wrong. SummerSlam, someone should have attacked Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan could have gone off into the sunset. She could have got a clean victory with someone else interfering, of course, but Ronda had a new feud to go through, whether it be Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, doesn't matter. Now it feels almost that Liv Morgan feels like she will have to turn heel because fans have been turning on her over the booking. And more anti-Liv Morgan fans are coming out every week because of the way that she's being portrayed on television. And the way that she's being portrayed for what, dare I say, the Vince era from the last 12 months before that, she was being booked well. She was being booked strong. She was in a prominent position. She was all potential. And now it's just gone wrong. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if she was to lose the championship at Extreme Rules. She's definitely the heavy favorite to lose against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. But I said this to you off air, and I'm going to say it to our stream now. Early prediction. I think Liv Morgan's going to retain Extreme Rules, and she's going to retain because Shayna Baszler is going to cost Ronda Rousey. That's how it's going to happen, and then Liv Morgan will move on. But it may be too little, too late. She may still have to turn heel because fans have been turning on her. Underground says, I'd book Swerve and Keith Lee similar to Killshot and AR Fox and Lucha Underground. Oh, what a great feud match that was. Hell of a war match, aka Freestyle of Japan match. Yeah, anyone not seen that from Lucha Underground, dang, that's a good match. Is that season 4 Underground, if I'm not mistaken? Remind me in the comments. That was an absolute banger. I actually want to go back and watch Lucha Underground from the start. If not, maybe review it on the channel one day. You never know. KXI. Oh, I remember there was a feud with Fire. Does that carry on? Maybe that carries on. Or maybe that was the Lucha Underground. That's the Lucha. Fair enough. There we go. That's fine. Do you think Josh Alexander will retain Impact World Championship, or will Eddie Edwards win the title Bound for Glory? I want Eddie Edwards to win. That's what I want to happen because I think on more on top of the company, yeah, that sort of takeover kind of feeling. I like that storyline, so that's what I want to happen. I don't know what will happen. So if say, do I think it's different to want? I think Josh retains at the second. They already did Swerve and Keith Lee, a similar feud to that in my temple. Cheap plug. Yeah, get the cheap plugs out. Why not? Anyone that's doing content, get the cheap plugs in. Underground, fair play to you. Jonesy says, WrestleMania Dream Match, the Usos versus Sammy and KO and DIY. WWE, make it happen. Paul Levesque hasn't been in this stream for a little while, but when he does, I'll point this out to him, Jonesy. Certainly would love to see it happen. And Underground says as well, put it in the TLC, book it Papa H. When he's about, we'll sort it out. Don't you worry about that. And the KXO says that would be cool. Who are some independent wrestlers that you think AEW should get? Do you think William Regal and Toni should do something after Wednesday and make Dark into NXT? I think it would be good. They sort of do, but they're kind of more like NXT. They're making it some like Superstars, Wrestling Challenge, Velocity, those sort of shows back in the day, don't they? But I think wrestling's moved on. This isn't the 80s and the early 90s anymore. I feel that those shows are a bit dull and a bit boring. I think it's a good platform, like you said, to turn to an NXT and do something like that. I think would be quite fun. As for independent wrestlers, I mean, I'm trying to think of someone off the top of my head, but there isn't anyone that really stands. And I'm trying to think that someone's not in a company, someone that's out there that you know just is doing indie shows that's not really broke through yet. I think that Underground had one the other day. Someone Noir, whose name escapes my head, would be a good fit, but yeah, it's hard to really say at the moment with independents. I'm not following so much indies. I haven't had the same time to follow that as of late. Almost Vim Han and Shanky should form a faction, and their gimmick will be they dance. I mean, to be fair, if they dance anywhere near Dancing Shanky's levels, then this group is a winner. I can smell the ratings. I really can. Dancing Shanky, I nearly fell off my chair with that one, almost as bad as Bodacious Bob, Holly, and Techno continue. Oh, we're throwing the retros back, Jonesy. Oh, those are good times. Good times indeed. Give them back to me. And of course, loves the idea of the TLC match as well. How about a version of the Montreal Screwjob to get the belt off Roman? That would be a fun storyline to do. And if the rumors are true that they want Roman Reigns to go heel babyface at some point, fans would be like, hey, the dude was screwed. So fans would be on side of it. So that could work. It could work. And it is the Survivor Series coming up, Jonesy. It's that time of the year. So I've got something with my hands going on a minute. Apologies. Jacob said, do you think Impact needs help with some of the production stuff? Or do you like the sound? Do you think that it's too much money nowadays? And do you think someone should be hired? They hired someone just recently to do with that, with the marketing and stuff like that. The name, unfortunately, escapes the brain. I could do a Google search, but I'm not going to do it because I can't remember the name of the person. But I do know that they were involved with WWE for a very, very long time. They went off to do projects outside of WWE, been very successful. So let's hope that they could do well for Impact Wrestling. Certainly would help. Now, that's an interesting way to get the belts off of Roman and the Bloodline. It's different to what I've got for the video plan, I promise. A lot of the AEW factions end with a storyline recently. The only reason the faction broke up was with a storyline recently in the circle, and Sammy Guevara wasn't involved in that. No, they were not. Well, it's been fun. See you for the next one. Thank you, Martin, and take care. Look after yourself, and thanks for watching. And you even got KXI wishing you a good day as well. I like that. Everyone's doing well, and even Jones is saying as well. I like that. I'm not joking. You must be joking. Absolutely. There's always serious in here. Absolutely. Maybe Dexter Loomis just wants to be the Miz's friend, but doesn't know how to express that. Do you know what? That's the best. That's the best one I can hear. I'd like that idea. He's just misunderstood Dexter Loomis. He doesn't talk. He does art. He wants to make him his friend, but the Miz just doesn't understand it. He's actually just was there to be a safe babysitter to make sure that no one else broke into the home. No one else buying it? All right. I meant a lot of AEW factions ends without storyline. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah, absolutely. It does end with it. A lot of them do, and I think that it does show a little bit of a hole in their product. I'd like to see KO and Sami Zayn reform a tag team. I would as well. And as I say, Underground, I think it'll be around WrestleMania time. C Nation, I think you'd be down with that as well. Also, at least African Academy had a Raw Tag Team title reign to show that they were successful. Absolutely. And I've got to say, I thought it was a good reign when they had those titles as well. Really enjoyed that reign. I thought it was a lot of fun. Jonesy says, are you surprised that they have not brought back Charlotte or Sasha yet? Scary to think how strong that women's division could be. Absolutely. Particularly for SmackDown, like you say, there would be really scary to have that star power there even further. The women's division, WWE, is wow. Charlotte for me should come back any time now. Would love her on SmackDown. Sasha Banks, I also said we'll be back any time now. I did the stream and I said she'll be back now, like this coming week for building for Extreme Rules. I suppose it should come. But maybe they're going to carry on now with Raquel, Shotzi, and Aaliyah against Damage Control in the meantime, and Bianca on Raw. So maybe they are holding off still for a little while, but they will come back soon. And like you say, it's going to be even stronger, that women's division, when they do. And if all of them are there, then we can finally do Becky, Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte. Please do the 4 horsewomen match. Need it at WrestleMania next year. Or the year after, because I think we're getting Becky versus Ronda. Dakota Kai is really happy she had a women's tag team title for 4 days. It's so funny because this is a big comment. Well, in fairness, I mean, for most WWE superstars, they dream of holding championships. Whether it's for a day, for some of them would be enough. So yeah, I can imagine she would feel that's a big deal because she's probably thought she had a couple of opportunities to have gold and they've been taken away from her so quickly. This, obviously, yeah, like we say, it's done in comedic way she's done it, but at the same time, she might have a proper reign with the championships here, and that will be probably a really, really big deal for her because it's the first one proper she has in wrestling in WWE. And like I said, there's so many wrestlers over there. You think of all the great wrestlers through the 80s and 90s that never held a championship. If I'm not mistaken, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, Jake Roberts in WWE, whole time there, one of the biggest names, an icon of the era in the 80s and early 90s, even coming back in other sporadic periods, never held a championship ever in WWE. So it goes to show how special for some people coming in, how it can be for winning championships, even if it's just a short time. Women's Money in the Bank ladder matches always have bad title reigns. Seems like it in the modern day. Seems like Nikki ASH definitely did. Carmella's was all right. Carmella's wasn't too bad. Alexa Bliss was all right as well. And Bayley's was fine. See, it's just recent time. Just recent time. And Oscars were okay. Last 2 years. I'll give you the last 2 years. Liv Morgan was booked better in the Vince McMahon era. Completely agree. Completely agree with you there, Jonesy. I'm going to do the last few questions, then I will be wrapping things up. Jones says, cheers for answering my question. Thank you very much, Jonesy. Hope you do as well. Hope to see you on one of these streams again very, very soon. What do you guys mean? I've enjoyed the story of Liv and her reign. Well, I'm pleased that you have KXI. I'm pleased with that. I do think that at Crash at the Castle, things were getting back on track. And I hope to think that so far with the build of Ronda, it's been fine. My issues were the SummerSlam booking for me, because it got a lot of people to turn on her, and people still haven't got back round to being on her side yet. And it feels like a lot of people have given up on Liv. I'm glad you're not one of them, because I see that a lot of people are. I haven't given up on the reign yet. I hope they can turn it around, but they're going to have to work hard to do it, because they need to get everybody on side, because Liv Morgan had everybody on side at Money in the Bank. They don't have that anymore, sadly. Underground says, enjoy the rest of your evening. Going to carry on packing and go on vacation for the 30th. Fantastic. I hope you have a fantastic holiday, Underground, and a fantastic birthday as well. C Nation says, I think Josh Alexander should retain the Impact World Championship Bound for Glory, because that win would make him an established main eventer. Absolutely, would be established if he's not established already. And beating Edwards in 2020 when Josh Alexander was still in the North. I did not know that. So there you go. He's had experience of doing it in the past. I love the fact as well, we see people saying see you later to people when they do leave the chat here. It just shows we've got a good community here. I'm really a fan of that. So it means a lot, guys, that you all support each other as well as supporting this stream. It really, really does mean the world. Celestia says, do you think Josh Alexander's Impact World title reign has been good or bad? I think it's been fine. I think Josh Alexander needs more challenges where I think it's a threat. This one coming up now with Edwards, I feel it's a threat. So for me, I'm much more invested. Last thing, for me, the Dancing Stable can be called the Dancing Guys, almost most basic name as the firm. But you know what? Sometimes as simple can be as effective. Do it, Jonesy. I'm down for it. I can smell the ratings and what The Rock is cooking. It smells really nice. KXI, oh, good. I'm not the only one who hates the name The Firm. Yeah, I think it seems to be universal at this stage. It seems, certainly tonight anyway. Dexter Loomis was making sure no one robbed the house. He just wants to be Mrs. Friend. It's just misunderstood. I like that. I like that he's just misunderstood. Last thing from me, Roderick Strong to be on the main roster. Very underrated wrestler, in my opinion. Should have been NXT champion. Have a fantastic evening. Love and support from the Temple. Absolutely. And love and support to you as well, buddy. Absolutely. Thank you for checking out the stream. And I definitely agree, Roderick Strong should be on the main roster. I have faith under Triple H that he probably will be, and booked well. Absolutely. I have faith in that. Raquel Rodriguez. Just get the teeth in. Raquel Rodriguez, easy for me to say, had a good reign as NXT Women's Champion, so she had a good reign. Now it's Dakota Kai's turn. 100% agree, is her turn. And Josh Alexander's X Division title reign was better than his Impact World title reign. I would agree with that, though, 100%. Why are the mid-card belt title reigns better than the world title reigns? This happened to Seth too. Sometimes it's just the journey to the top. You get behind people on their journey to the top. And now, unfortunately, once they get to the top, the story loses steam. You need to find something to keep it going on. And I think sometimes that disconnects with some people. With Seth, for me, it was the Fiend. That's what ruined that. And he didn't have the right. He had Baron Corbin at the time as the feud, which that's just not right. It doesn't feel like a credible challenger at that time period. Josh Alexander, fine matches he's had, but I've never felt he's been in any doubt or fear of losing the championship. This Spine Bound for Glory is the first time I feel there is some doubt. So there you are. But that's all from me anyway. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've all enjoyed the stream. If you were here for AEW, because this kind of turned into a WWE Q&A at the end, go to the start of the video. Literally, the first hour is basically a lot of AEW doing the Grand Slam predictions for Dynamite and for Rampage as well. And of course, if you want to wait even 15, 20 minutes, I will do the chapters for everything. So you have it all there and you know immediately where to fast forward to. But that's all from me anyway. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. C-Nation says, the journey to the top is always better than being on top. Well, I mean, in a lot of cases in wrestling, that can be true. For some wrestlers, thankfully, they break through and it does stay there. Obviously, you can just think of the likes of Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, there's many that have been there. The Rock as well, Triple H. There are ones that have had great ones there. And even with AEW, I'm sure that's been the case where Hangman Adam Page had to wait for his time to get to the top as well. Although, maybe that one was better in the middle. Never mind. Okay, so I haven't been on your streams in a while. Really enjoyed this one. We'll make sure to pop back more often. See you, Steve. Thank you, KXI. It's been good to have you back, actually. I mean, the thing is, we all do our thing in life, and sometimes we don't have time to come in as often as we like, but I'm so pleased that you were here today, and I'm pleased you enjoyed the stream, and you've been here from near enough the very, very beginning, so I really appreciate you taking 2 hours and 4 minutes out of your life to watch this entire stream. I really, really do appreciate it. And to anyone else, we've been watching for 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, thank you all for watching. It really does mean a lot. Please hit a like on the video. Check out some other videos on the channel right now, including the other live streams I've done this week. And of course, you want to know my thoughts on Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. That live stream is available on the channel right now. And also my thoughts of the return of NXT, potentially Black and Gold coming back. Is it the end of NXT 2.0? That stream is available as well. But that's all from me. There'll be more videos dropping next week. You know I'll be coming back. Take care. All the best. And I will see you next time. C Nation. Thank you. And thank you for being here the whole time as well. It's nice for the people that have been here the whole time. And like I say, we've been here for 2 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours. I appreciate you all. Really, really does mean a lot. I never take this stuff for granted. So thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Whatever you decide to do, enjoy. I'll see you next time. All the best.